and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts and prepare for takeoff. We'd like to thank you for flying with us today. Hopefully we've made your flight enjoyable. We're about to start making our final descent, so if you could please collect your belongings and prepare for landing, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Give me 1 second to transition. Give me 1 sec, everybody. And hello. Welcome to the interview with my friend here, Sha Aspire. Hopefully I said your name right. Or is it like Shay or?
No, you said it right the first time.
Sha, gotcha. Do you prefer going by Sha, Aspire? How do you like people to call you?
They're both fine. Most people call me Aspire, but Shaw's just as good.
Gotcha, Sha. It's like what, I feel like Shaw makes me think of like an old Western movie a little bit. Was it Shawshank Redemption or something?
Yeah, there's a
I don't think
lot
of.
yeah, there's a lot of jokes you make with the first name. But yeah, I like usually the people that have known me like super long, they call me Aspire. It's just easier to remember. But most of the people like on Twitter and stuff call me Shaw.
Gotcha. And well, speaking of which, why don't you give a bit of introduction about yourself? Just a little bit about who you are, your name, your background, stuff like that, what you do.
Yeah, for sure. Well, my username anyway, Sha Aspire. I have been streaming on Twitch for a long time, since my early 20s, so that's probably at least 10 years. But I've been just getting into VTubing for about the last 3, maybe 2.5 years. I stream mostly like Final Fantasy 14, League of Legends, a lot of variety games, stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know quite. I can go into more details, but if you have any specific questions.
Yeah, I definitely will have a lot of specific questions. It's funny. I used to write a list of questions for every guest, but it's been like 6 interviews since I last did that. No, probably more. I just stopped doing it because I kind of like just come up with the questions on the spot based off of what I hear from what you say, or like a lot of the questions I do ask are very similar. It's like I ask everyone, like for instance, like how did you like da 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 da, and I'll have a question that I'll ask just about everyone that comes on.
Yeah,
here.
like your standard opener, like you don't need to like rehearse those anymore, right? Like it's your standard boilerplate. Like I usually start with this just to get some info, and then it's just a casual conversation. It flows a lot more naturally then, right?
Yeah, because then it doesn't feel like I'm reading off a script. It doesn't feel like I have to lead in anything or, just completely derail a conversation. Although I do that a lot anyways, just because I'm bad at interrupting people.
Sometimes people need to be interrupted. It's all good.
That you're not wrong. I've had guests that love to talk, even more than I do, which is saying something. So sometimes I have to go, hey, hold your horses. You're talking about everything before I can even talk, and ask you about.
Gotta get the hotkey. Gotta get the hotkey for the Oscar music.
Oh man. So you said you've been doing Twitch. I didn't know Twitch has been around for 10 years. How long?
Like it was like
Twitch?
right when it came out. Like I used to like stream on XSplit is how like when it first came out. Let's see what my oldest video on Twitch is. That's a good question. Maybe I'm being a little hyperbolic.
Because I know I started around 2018, 2019, something like that. I've been doing YouTube since 2015.
Some of the first streams I did was like right when Final Fantasy 14 came out, so that was quite a while ago.
Dude, that game has been out for a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah. I have videos on my Twitch from 8 years ago, so I guess I'm exaggerating a little bit. 8 years ago.
That's still a long time. I mean, yeah, 8 years ago is older than 2015, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that's old. So you've been around for a long time. Is it still the same Twitch channel that you have right now?
Yeah, it's the same Twitch channel.
I'm surprised you're not bigger.
It's probably more due to like my work schedule. Like if I had a more like consistent like 9 to 5 sort of deal, I could like schedule streams more often. People would like recognize that like I'm on certain days. But up until almost 2020, I was doing shift work, so every week my days would get like adjusted one day. So like my Monday would be Tuesday next week. My Monday
this
would
is
be
why
Wednesday
I'm
next
so
week.
glad I stopped working for retail, because I had that and I hated that. I just want I'm never working a job where I don't have a set schedule ever again. I want to work the same days every week to plan things.
And it's a little better now, but it's still difficult because on my days working now, I can't stream whatsoever because I travel a lot for work. And I'm gone for 8 days and I'm back for 6. So like you'll see a lot of streams within those 6 days. I'll stream like 4 out of the 6, but then you won't see me for 8 days. And so it's hard to get any traction with that sort of schedule.
I mean, that's fair. Last week I feel bad because I was supposed to have a 3rd interview last week. Yesterday I was supposed to have one, but I've been like I was telling you right before the starting soon screen was going. I was telling you about how I've been getting burnt out on editing. I've been editing a podcast episode for the past 2 weeks now, and I've been fighting burnout on it. So yesterday I had to cancel an interview because I wanted to focus on more editing, especially because I knew that I would need to take frequent breaks. I'm nearly done. I only have like 20 minutes left to edit, so I'm almost there, but it's still oh boy, it's a lot. Even if it is just watching people talk and changing camera angles, can still be monotonous.
Oh yeah, it's all the little nitty gritty things that like take so much time. It's not like simple adjustments, right? You could spend 20 minits just adjusting one thing.
Oh yeah,
just getting it just right. So I get it.
It sucks. I wish that's why if the podcast started to do better, or started to make more money. I mean, one thing that sucks, I'm not monetized on YouTube yet, so I'm making no money here. I'm just doing this, and whereas I was making money on Twitch. I was actually making somewhat decent. I was making almost 100 a month. Not bad. However, I gave up Twitch just because I felt like I wasn't growing over there. And also, I don't know, some of the streamers that were getting away with things, I didn't really like what they were doing. Namely, that woman who had sex only got a 7-day ban.
Yeah, it seems like for certain people at least, or whoever's reviewing it anyway, it seems like there's kind of some different rules for different people. And,
Bias. Yeah.
And then it's like the heaviest hammer for like the everyday user.
It sucks. I don't know. And plus, I've always felt more positive towards YouTube, and I think that's because I grew up with it so much longer. And YouTube has a lot of features in it that I do like a lot more. Like, I feel like smaller people can grow a lot easier here than they can on Twitch.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, the best way I like to look at it is I feel like YouTube's almost a comfier place, right? Like, Twitch almost feels like there's like an artificial pressure that's built for some reason. And then, yeah, I don't know. It just, but that's the sense I get. YouTube's a bit more of a comfier place.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's way more comfy. I'm hoping that I have emotes that I cannot wait. Like, we're getting close to monetized. I'm just about to hit 1,000 watch time hours. So if I can keep the grind up this year and maintain the support of anyone watching the streams that I'm trying to do, it helps a lot. And if we can get this channel monetized, that is a dream I've had since 2015. Probably before then, because before I even made this channel, I wanted to be a YouTuber.
I've got no doubt you'll get it this year.
Maybe, we'll see. I've got a lot of guests. I was so shocked by the amount of guests that wanted to be interviewed when I reached out, like, on Twitter. That's the first time I've ever had VTubers actually respond to me on Twitter, like, in mass. Oh. even more so than what I'm gonna be talking about how we met. That thing I was doing with XCOM. Before that, like, that got a little response, but when I tweeted out that I wanted to interview people, I was expecting a very lackluster response like I normally get when I tweet at VTubers, because I normally never seen. But the moment I did that, I had like 7 or 8 VTubers reach out to me, and then I still had like 8 more people I could reach out to that I had already talked to or interacted with in the past. And I've interacted with some other big VTubers too, that are interested in doing interviews, which is going to be really cool. Like, I think it's going to be fun. I should say bigger, just a lot of them. There are some, there's volume. 1 or 2 big ones, but...
no, for sure. If you ever need any recommendations, I know a few people that'd be really entertaining to interview. I can send you later.
Oh, yeah. One thing I plan to do throughout each interview is, if you enjoy the interview, send some people my way you think that would like to be interviewed. That's what I'm thinking about doing, because I love talking to people. I know that some people might not find it the most entertaining content, but to me, I just, it's so relaxing, just sitting down, having a fun chat with people. You just like sit down and just talk to you for like 2 to 4 hours, however long we have the energy for.
100%. I love just, chilling there, relaxing, having a nice hot cup of tea, and yeah, I like shooting the shit as much as anyone.
Oh yeah, it's very nice. It's also, it gives me an excuse to talk to people who normally would be too shy to collab with me or do anything. And honestly, I prefer it. I prefer doing an interview over just trying to befriend someone in DMs. I know some people might hate me for that, but I just like, every time I've tried to chat with the VTuber in DMs, it always leads to ghosting in some way, shape, or form. I always get ghosted.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. Like, it's DMs are weird, right? Because like, it's hard to get to know a complete stranger through them, and it's
through
just
text,
like,
especially, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, I kind of know your existence, but I don't know who you are. So like, this is weird. And then it doesn't help that like, you can have normal interactions, which would be fine through them, but then there's also people that kind of take parasocial a little too far. So it's hard for the people receiving the message, I think, to know like, where is this person coming from, and is this a like genuine reaction, or is there like something going on here? I don't know.
Yeah, no, and that's why asking people for an interview, being the more my name gets spread around as being the VTuber interviewer, or just like that people will know me to interview content creators, the more my reputation will let me just reach out to people like, hey, You seem like you'd be an interesting person to talk to. Would you like to come on for an interview? And I know I do them live, so I know some people might not like the fact I do them live because, you know, sometimes doing an interview off camera, or like not really off camera, but doing one it's not live, is probably easier for some people because of the fact they don't have to watch what they say as much, and they can be a lot more free.
Yeah. No, 100%. That makes sense.
I just prefer doing them live because then if I see any questions in chat, I can bring them up and I can, you know, do stuff with that.
Well,
Nice.
it's almost like the old shows where they used to have like the telephone call-ins, right? Like people can call in the questions, and it makes it more interesting.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's a very good analogy. Like, yeah, off air. That's the best way to. Yeah, that's how to refer to it. Yeah. Also, I think that's the first time I've seen you in my stream, Ender. I could be wrong, but I know you've interacted with Twitter. Nice to have you here.
Well, hopefully
Yes.
this won't be the end of it.
Yeah, same. And also, hopefully, it won't be the end of me chatting with you, because so far I'm already having a blast chatting with you.
Lovely.
Yeah, I actually wanted to make sure I brought up. So for those who don't know how I met Sha, again, I say met. We've only briefly interacted. There was I want to say 6 months ago, maybe 8 months. Oh God, it's been a long time now.
It's been that long? Yeah, it's been a while though.
It's been a while. I was doing this thing on XCOM 2 where I was creating VTubers using the character pool and using mods. And so I was like, hey, VTubers, I would create some and then be like, hey, if anyone who wants to be made into a XCOM 2 character for my playthrough, reach out to me. I'll make your character. And Sha was one of those people who reached out and also chatted with me briefly about their history playing XCOM 2.
Oh, I was in love with that game when it first came out. Like I poured a lot of energy and love into it. It was a really fun game.
It's so good. It's so fun.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not like a bigger game. Like I feel like it's not that known to a lot of people. It's a super fun game.
Oh yeah, no. Oh God, hold on. My stream is dying for some reason. Am I gonna get bitrate back? Uh-oh. Hold on. I'm having.
Yeah, you sound okay now.
Am I good? Okay, yep, no, we're good, we're good. Internet just had a hiccup, it looks like. Yep. But yeah, no. And actually, I think XCOM Enemy Unknown, or Enemy Within, whatever it is, the first XCOM was, when I was streaming that on Twitch, I think that was the game that actually led me to reaching affiliate, because I pulled in some viewers who were very passionate about XCOM and wanted to keep watching me play it, because it'd been my first time going through it.
Yeah, that game's got a really, like, the cult following that does love it, loves it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool because, like, the game itself almost has, like, almost like a Nuzlocke mechanic into it, too, which is cool, so...
What I'm tempted to do, and this would be extremely hard to set up, but it'd be so fun, is do streams where I play through it, but I pull on any friends who I'm going to use in the missions who are VTubers, and I have them join the call to chat with me while I do missions with them.
Yeah, that would be fun. And like, not like micromanage the commands, but you be like, what do you do on your turn? You're like, I'm gonna get that alien there.
Wait, that basically becomes hold on. That's like running a D&D campaign, but in XCOM.
Exactly.
Hold on, I might actually do that. That might actually be that's never been done. I might do that. That could be really, really fun. And then I'd be like, all right, this is basically D&D, but you are an XCOM character, and you get to decide what you do this turn.
And like it'd be fun too because there's gonna be people that have never played XCOM and they're just gonna be like, I throw the grenade at the billboard.
I am going to do this now. Hold on, I need to do this, and I don't know if I'm gonna do this on Twitch or YouTube. I don't know. Maybe both, or if I do a restream to both, I don't know yet. I'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But the big thing is I need to make sure I create VTubers who are into the idea of doing this. And the thing is, that has to be a pretty substantial number. Because I have to have, like, because XCOM, your character, especially XCOM 2, your characters get tired and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So you'd have to have a rotate. Unless there's a mod to turn that off, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I could do that. I could, instead, in fact, I might do that just because that would actually help. Get rid of the fatigue mechanic.
Keep the psychological damage, but, like, get rid of just the fatigue.
Yeah, same. Get rid of just the fatigue so they can be psychologically damaged or stuff like that. I can figure it out. I want to do this now. I basically become a D&D player, but with the VTubers I'm playing with. That is an awesome idea. I might pull you. I'm definitely gonna pull you into that because that'd be really fun.
You've got my details. You know how to get a hold of me.
Yes, I do. And I was watching one of your streams before. I'm surprised you're not growing as much. Again, I know you say it's because of your schedule, but you have a very laid back personality, and I feel like a lot more people should be vibing with that.
Yeah, you'd think, but I mean, I think it doesn't help as well. Like for the main game that I've streamed too, it's also very late in the evening. It's like 8 p.m. Pacific time. So like anytime I've streamed and it's like a reasonable hour for like EST, I've usually gotten like 14 viewers, something like that. But I think it's more like a time thing.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Um, no, that makes sense. Like, what sucks for me is that I've read my statistics on YouTube, and apparently most of the people who watch my content are browsing YouTube at 4 p.m. PST, and
Mhm.
I sadly can't stream at that time because of work. And so I'm just like, and honestly, most of my viewers are on from like noon to 4, so or like more like noon to 8, but basically between there, if I would stream for those 8 hours, I'd probably be pulling some really nice viewers in.
No, probably, yeah. It just works like that sometimes. It's just like real life versus what would be optimal sometimes conflict, right? But trick is somehow got to break into that Australian market, right? That would be
Dude, I love my Aussies. Please, Aussies love me. Watch me. the
that's like the
Aus.
perfect. It's like lunchtime for them when it's the evening for me.
I know it's like, and it honestly, really is like right. Like some of my really close friends are Aussies, and it's I think it's really thankful to the fact that they're almost always free around the time I'm trying to stream or do stuff, and so it really just works out. And also, just Australians are really nice people.
Yeah, it worked out great for me too because I usually relax during the evening, not like earlier, like right after work or anything. So like when I play D&D, for example, it's later for me, but it's for my Aussie friends that are playing in our group. It's like the perfect time for them. So
And speaking of which, so is their design based off like being a D&D, like a rogue or something? I'm assuming that's what it's based off of.
no, actually not. It's based off of my Final Fantasy 14 character. So the
Ah.
closest equivalent would be like an artificer. But
Okay.
yeah, Final Fantasy has a class called Machinist. So basically, you make gadgets and stuff, and robots and guns and explosions, and yeah,
Gotcha. Okay. I had a feeling it was more like a rogue look, but I guess that makes more sense. I guess it's mainly because of the hood and stuff.
yeah. I mean, the class is very like acrobatic, so it would be like if the D&D equivalent to like it's like artificer rogue with a ranged weapon.
Oh my god. Yeah, no. Oh god, I need to do this XCOM idea. This is I keep thinking of it. That's gonna be a really fun idea if I can get some VTubers so I can get them to reoccur, come back to the stream. And if the only thing is if they die, then they're out. So I have to get a pretty wide cast.
Hey, it's just the VTuber Nuzlocke, you know? It happens.
The VTuber Nuzlocke, true. That could be
High
fun.
stakes, high reward, you know? It's you get that emotional impact when that person people love is gone.
Yep, and especially like I feel like the players would get really into it. I feel like that'd be really interesting, and I could
Yeah.
just, if, like if I want to have it, I could pull on VTubers who want to replace people who do die, or I could just make it so I just pull a set group and I just keep going through, even if I only have like 2 units left.
Yeah, that makes sense too. Yeah, you could have like a certain pool and like once you hit it, you're done.
Yep.
And a fun thing too is if it becomes like a multi like episodic thing, you could do like an in memoriam at the end, do like a little credit roll.
Yeah. Oh my God, these are. I'm gonna need to reach out to some people because I definitely think I want to do this now. The only thing I need to find out is if I export my character pool, does it save the mods that I have added to the characters? Because if I need to create new characters,
That's a good question. I don't know. I haven't played around with XCOM 2 in a while, so
because I don't want to delete anybody, but at the same time, if I need to, I will. But because then I could have, because I generally think this will be a really interesting idea. I just need to make sure I find people who are on board and are free at that time. What time are you usually free, by the way? Do you know? Or
oh,
again,
for me myself or
oh yeah, you were saying. Never mind. You were saying your schedule. You're only like free 6 days out of
yeah,
the week, right?
yeah, it's a 14-day schedule, so it's a weekly thing. Like it's like a 7-day week, but you got to think of it more like a 14. And I'm working for 8 straight, and then I'm
6 days
off for
off.
6 straight. But it sometimes during the 8, I'm free a bit. My work's really tough. I do a lot of on-call work, and like I work nights, and but I could do voice chat. I just couldn't like stream or do like my model or anything. That would be the difficult part.
That makes sense. I probably wouldn't have anyone using their models anyways, because that's very taxing on everybody, and I feel like it'd be better just to have reactive images.
Yeah, just do like the PNG 2B thing or something like that, or
Yeah, just have them use PNGs of their VTubers. I feel like that I would literally just be running a D&D campaign using the mechanics of XCOM. No one has done this yet. I
it's
would be
there.
the
It
first.
works. It seems no brainer to me. So I think it would work out great.
I think it's gonna be fun. I know some friends who'd be on board. Then this is gonna be fun. I know some really good ones. Going back on, it's tough to keep top of that idea. So you said, so do you play a lot of D&D? I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm in. So I'm DMing one right now, and I'm in two other games currently. But I think I've. Oh heck, let me just look at because I played a lot of it on Roll20. That'll give you a rough idea. On only Roll20 now, mind you, I've played on other ones. I have 1,600 hours played.
Oh wow, that's a lot. Wow.
Yeah, and there is 3 pages of campaigns that I've been in.
I tried running a D&D campaign, but it was a bit stressful trying to come up with an original plot and all that the whole time, and come up with where the characters were going to go next, and also trying to get everyone to be free at the same time because some people weren't into doing it.
Scheduling's the end boss of D&D. Like that's the big bad is the scheduling. Like everyone's excited to play, but it's just getting the stars to align to allow everyone to sit down at the table metaphorically.
Oh yeah, dude. It's fun doing D&D. XCOM 2 is very similar to D&D. It really is.
Yeah, like you're like if you consider the movement like 5-foot squares, and then like you have your certain abilities and spells, and you can only use so many of them, and attack ranges, and there's some melee characters. So yeah,
And the fact there's cover that people can take cover behind. I would probably set to and I would probably wouldn't set it on the hardest difficulty or even the second hardest. I'd probably put it like intermediate, because if I set the difficulty too high for people who aren't familiar with XCOM, they probably would die really easily. And XCOM gets a lot, like the difficulty curve on XCOM can drastically shift very quickly.
oh, especially when you miss those 70-80% shots, because that's XCOM, baby.
Yeah, there's what, 4 difficulties I think in XCOM.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's like casual, intermediate, hard, and then captain or something, commander.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, commander difficulty I know is the last one, I'm pretty sure. And I would make it an Iron Man run, I think, for sure, where if the characters die, there's no saving, there's no taking back moves. Once a character makes a move, it's made for good.
Okay, I guess it's like rookie, veteran, commander, legend.
Okay, gotcha.
That's how they list it.
Yeah, I wouldn't set on the easiest, but I don't know if I don't want to make it too difficult for them.
Probably veteran, or between veteran or commander, one or the other, depending.
Yeah, something like that. So what kind of games did you grow up playing? I'm curious.
Well, I mean, the very first game system I ever picked up as a kid. Now, mind you, I was like 3.5. Would have been the regular Nintendo, but like true gaming and not just kind of playing around. Like I played a lot of games on the N64. Like I played Zelda, GoldenEye, all those kind of games. When I was able to get my hands on a used PlayStation 1, I got both Final Fantasy 7 and 8 and loved it. Legend of Dragoon, all those Square Enix games that are, a lot of role play games. Until maybe about mid high school, and then I started getting into a lot more shooters. So I played a lot of like Halo 2 and Halo 3.
Halo's so good.
Rainbow Six Vegas 2 was like the game I was the best at, like throughout my entire life. Like I almost went to Vegas once for a competition for MLG for it.
Really?
Yeah, wow. We were gonna play for Team Mountain Dew actually.
Wow. That's
but
awesome.
the fourth person like fell out, and you needed all 4 people, so like it was unfortunate we didn't get to go. But
yeah, I can see that being a problem.
That game was a fiesta. You could like shoot people while rappelling upside down on a rope.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and then I got into a lot of MMOs. Like I played a lot of. Go ahead, sorry.
I was just saying, I've never been able to get into MMOs. The genre just, I guess, feels a bit too grindy to me.
Yeah, a lot of them can be, but I guess it would depend on the personality type too. Like sometimes it's that grind that people are looking for because it's very you could turn your brain off and just you have an end goal, and once you read it, you get like that sense of satisfaction. But the point between 0 and 100, like you just get to kind of like turn your brain off, do something repetitive. It's kind of like therapeutical almost.
Maybe that's why I kind of enjoyed Destiny's rating system. Like the first Destiny, I enjoyed some of the like bigger boss fights. Like I think maybe that's why I like that, because it was kind of like that, but not as brainless or grindy as other games.
Yeah, they're more like capsulized, right? Like it's a repetitive thing you're doing, but the repetitiveness is within that one instance of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
So like I played a lot of MMOs though. Like I started with like RuneScape, and then I played like Maple Story, Lattale. Like I've played Ragnarok Online, and then I got into WoW. I played that for like 7 years, 8 years. Final Fantasy 14 came out. I kind of played both, and then I gave up WoW. So
grindy game fun when you want to turn off your brain. Agreed, both. I mean, I've played a couple grindy games that I've had fun with, like Genshin. That's kind of brainless.
100%. It's like the same feeling. Yeah,
I'm so glad I dropped that game though. It took so much money from me.
that's the deviousness of them nowadays, right? Like Genshin, Tower of Fantasy. Ooh,
yeah.
Gotta hide that credit card. You gotta lock it up.
Yeah, I just spent way too much money on it. Oh my god. But so you've run D&D and you've been a player in D&D. Which role do you think you prefer more? DM or player?
That's a very good question. I guess it would depend on the aspect of it. I mean, for less stress, obviously being a player, because I have to just make one rich character and roleplay that one character, and I can get deep with it. I can get invested with it. You can't get too overly invested with too many people on as the DM, because like you don't know what people are going to do, you don't know what choices they're going to make, so like it's tough to like pour a lot of energy into something that you're not sure if people are going to really jive with or like connect with.
Yeah.
I would say the easier answer, to put it short, I enjoy making stories, but the technical background work of the DM is a bit tough. Like I don't like making the battle map, and I don't like opening up the 7 enemy screens and scrolling through and trying to find the ability I'm trying to look for. Like I like telling the story, but I don't like the technical work behind it.
Yeah. That makes sense. I I might just agree with that. I think that it's probably why I started burning myself out on being a dungeon master. I still hope one day I can try being a player at some point.
Well, it's always tough because when you find like a group of people that are interested in it, it's usually their first time, right? So it defaults to the person with the most experience to DM it.
Yeah, and now that I have experience being a DM, people are probably going to be less likely to let me play. I have been in contact with a VTuber who's down to have me be on. The only issue is sounds like is their campaign. Your character has to be your VTuber and their lore, and I'm just sitting here like, my VTuber is literally just me.
Hey, you're the town crier, man. Like maybe something like that. Like you're
forever DM moment. Yep.
Everyone's had that moment.
Yeah, forever DM. Oh my god. But I do think that I can't believe how like I've been wanting to do something with XCOM 2. The idea you have given me, like help refine, that is going to be so fun. Running a D&D campaign in XCOM 2. Because the game already plays itself, basically. I just let the players make their decisions. I move them on the board. And then there's banter between the VTubers who I'm playing with. And the thing is, their party slots get bigger as time goes on. Because I think I'll start with like 8 VTubers, and every mission I'll flip-flop between them. And actually, no. How many would I need total? I would need 10 VTubers, so we need to start with 8. And then I guess I would just cycle a few out here and there. I don't know.
Yeah, and like if you had everyone, you could even have it like the other people are like in the base, like watching it, like they can comment on like the hype moments. But like you would also have to have kind of rules, right? Like the people that are actively in the fight.
This makes me almost want to record instead of stream it, just because then I could have someone in that call, record what they're saying as they watch.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah,
that'd
you
be
could.
like...
And
What were you gonna say? Sorry.
oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
No. Well, it's not like you were gonna say something. That's why I stopped.
Oh, I was gonna say like, and if you get that one person that's not able to like meet up for like when everyone's on the Discord call, like you could still add in their stuff later, so like it's not like they're missing.
Yeah, and typically XCOM, you eventually reach the point where you have 2 teams of 6 typically that are like your main people. And I think if I eliminated the fatigue mechanics and stuff like that, it would allow me to stick to just having those 12, and then have some extras that I would just send out, to do the what are they called? The undercover operations or whatever.
Yeah, and then obviously you cycle people in and out based on availability. Like people are actually able to collab.
Yeah, and that's why I would like. I'm hesitant to let you in because I know your bad schedule, but at the same time, if I can cycle people, I could definitely pull you in for a couple of them. Like you'll just be one of my backups, I guess.
Every guest star backup. When I'm there, I'm there.
And when you're there, you're there. And I would just have a rule where I'm not allowed to use a character unless I have them in the call, in order to use them in the mission. Just that way they can make their choices themselves. That's going to be very fun.
Sounds like a fun idea.
Yeah, sorry I keep talking about it so much, because I just feel like you just helped refine an idea that no one else has done. And it's gonna be so unique. Yeah. Oh, that is gonna be such a blast. I really wonder if I should stream that on Twitch, or if I should stream that on YouTube, or if I should record it, because there's so many. I'm gonna have to think about that. Speaking of which, do you have a YouTube channel?
I do. I don't use it quite as much as I do my Twitch, but I do, and I've done a couple like shorts. They're mostly Final Fantasy oriented, but done a couple, like I think 2 guys for VTube Studio. But because I've gotten quite a few views on the shorts that I've made, but like we were talking about earlier, like the editing portion of it is a lot of work, and with my weird sleep and still trying to stream things, I haven't been able to make a ton of content. But
even editing of 1 minute can feel like it can take you like over an hour.
100%. And like some of these things, like I had to go into the game, I had to like record certain cutscenes, and then like putting it in, and then syncing it with tracks, and then putting the text in it, and it's a whole thing. But I've got a little bit of success. I think enough that I was happy with it. Like one of them got almost 800 views. I thought that was a lot.
Ah, nice. That's not bad. No, shorts can help you really grow, and I feel like anyone who's not taking advantage of them in this day and age is making a bad choice. Just because like they help advertise your channel, get your channel in the eyes of people who never would have seen it. And yes, you can put it in front of the eyes of people who won't help, which sucks. But so it's like I've had my shorts end up in front of the eyes of people who just hate VTubers. And if they see a VTuber, they're like immediately start pouring hate into the comments.
Just the scathing, I have no patience for that stuff. Like,
I just delete the comments immediately. I'm like, yeah, you really think your comments can affect me? I'm just gonna delete it. You're not important enough for me.
Block and delete.
Yeah, block and delete. Yep. Let's see. Willow says, curious question for both of you. Do you prefer streaming on Twitch or YouTube? Pretty sure my answer should be obvious. I prefer YouTube. Well, yes and no. I prefer. I'll ask you yours right after, Sha. For me, the reason I prefer YouTube is I feel like I can get my content in front of the eyes of people easier. And people who miss it don't have to feel like they might never see it again, because it's guaranteed it automatically becomes a VOD right after, and it's the same stream and everything. You can even read the chat after. You can't do that on Twitch VODs. Even if you highlight a Twitch VOD, the chat can sometimes get deleted on the side if they don't have the chat on screen like I do, that is. where I just don't have chat on screen, because if I do, then I can get demonetized if someone says a swear word. um, I also prefer it because I feel like, again, the algorithm is much nicer to YouTube streamers. However, I think Twitch has a better clipping system. The rating system is so good. You can easily meet new people through raids, whether that's you being rated or people or you rating others. So I think Twitch has a lot of bonuses, but I think YouTube has a lot of good things for smaller creators, in my opinion. What do you think, Sha?
I think a lot of your points are right. Like for especially just starting out and like smaller viewers and like very, I don't want to use the word niche, but specialized content, YouTube's better. It's just better. And like you said, like the saving of like the VODs afterwards is largely better on YouTube. Like think about it. You want to watch a video, you go to YouTube. You don't think about, I'm going to go on Twitch and then find the person's page and then go to their clips and then find the right thing. Like it's a lot more work to get to a specific recording.
Yep.
But the thing with Twitch, and I'm going to have to answer like it is Twitch for me, mostly because of, you know, I haven't delved into streaming on YouTube, but it's more of a continuity thing for me. Like I said, I have all my legacy content on there, so it's kind of like continuing that story, almost like a video game, right? Like I'm continuing that progression of me doing this thing, and it's all right. Like I said, like there's 8-year-old videos on there, so I think it's just kind of continuing on the legacy, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Yeah, I mean,
and then there's like the emotes and like I like that you can use, you know, Prime memberships for a subscription. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, Prime memberships. I hope YouTube Red adds something like that eventually. Or I guess it's called YouTube Premium now. I remember it was called YouTube Red. And then also, in general, I think Twitch also, a big thing that Twitch has over YouTube. Like, I feel like streaming on Twitch is the place that people go to because they're streamers. And that might change in the future, but mainly people think, when they think, I want to watch a live stream, they go to Twitch, not YouTube. Unless a specific creator they want to watch is on YouTube, they're going to go to Twitch.
Yeah, 100%. Like, the best way I like to put it is YouTube's full of super interesting content that you can watch at your leisure. Twitch is about going to, like, it's like a sporting event, right? You're going to the stadium and watching the game. Like, you want to watch it while it's happening, and that's important to you, as opposed to like YouTube a lot of the time feels like it's when it's convenient for you, it's there for you.
Exactly. Oh, one sec, somebody just knocked on my door. I will be right back.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Just my parents were letting me know that they were heading out, probably the casino.
Oh, good.
Because they love going there. I'm curious, what do you think about gambling and stuff? I personally, not the biggest fan, even if I get addicted to gotchas.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that it causes more harm than good. But I also feel like you can't really put that limitation on people, right? If, like, what are you going to do? Like, put a daily limit on how much people can spend their own money? So it's a weird thing, right? Like, I've got a hate-love relationship with, like, chance. Like, I feel like I'm a lucky person in general.
Yeah, I'd say the same.
I don't like relying on luck, if that makes sense.
Oh no, 100% agree. It's why I hate gotchas. If I could just buy the characters in gotcha games, even for extravagant prices, I would. If I could just like, oh, I want Yoimiya from Genshin Impact. Here's $50. I would do that rather than, oh, let me risk spending $300, $400 on her.
Yeah, it's like that, but like you also get examples like Overwatch versus Overwatch 2, where like the loot boxes weren't great, but they actually weren't too bad compared to the battle pass thing they do now.
Oh god, I don't even want to know what they do now. Is it bad?
It's like you buy a battle pass, so it's almost like getting a monthly subscription to a game that didn't have a subscription price, and then you unlock things by playing. But you could also spend an enormous amount of money to unlock it directly.
very interesting. Thank you. Always love to hear people's. No problem, Willow. I'm glad. I'm actually glad people ask that because my opinions about Twitch versus YouTube is pretty interesting. I think both are good places. I think they both have their pros and cons, especially lately with YouTube being more harsh on demonetizing people for swearing or showing gore. That sucks a lot. That YouTube's going ham on that. But yeah, nah.
Yeah, you should just be able to put a tag on your stream, right? Be like 18 plus or something, or mature audience advised or something, and that would be. You think that would be enough? But
nope, not for YouTube. It's one that sucks. I love both platforms for streaming. I really do. I've seen way more success over here on YouTube rather than Twitch. But I think that's just because the algorithm will show my old content to new people. Twitch doesn't do that. It's not like, here's the thing, again, the whole thing about it becoming VODs, people don't go to, like, on YouTube, if you title it, hey, this is a Twitch VOD, people aren't going to watch it. People don't go out of their way to look at Twitch VODs unless they care about their creator. But if you go and if it's just a stream from your YouTube channel that you streamed on, people will randomly click on it because it was a previous stream you did. Like, you did on YouTube.
Yeah, and it's almost like the YouTube short / TikTok argument, right? Like, people won't go out of their way to go back to Twitch to watch clips. But if you were to take those clips, export them, and put them into like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like,
short form content.
Yeah, you make it into short form content. It's gonna get 10, 50 times more views.
Well, it always
right?
has. It's just people don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. It's extra work, and then you have to do the editing.
Oh, Willis says that they found the stream through sidebar recommendation. Awesome. I always love hearing how people find my streams.
Very topical.
Very topical. Yep, right there. Great example. You found this stream through the sidebar. It's a great example. And welcome. Glad to have you in the community. I cannot speak. The community. Sorry, I'm speaking too fast for my brain to keep up. But yeah, welcome. Glad to have you here. Always glad to see a new face. Whether you stick around or not, I appreciate you being here. I always appreciate new faces.
Mm-hmm.
And I also appreciate good conversation. And I feel like I'm already hitting it off really well with you.
Well, I hope I'm easy to talk to. I tend to think I'm pretty chill and laid back.
I've had chaotic guests, I've had laid back guests, but so far the vibe you give off, I feel like it's very similar to the vibe I vibe with the most. Just chilled, laid back, can make a joke here or there, but is mainly just there to have a good time,
No, yeah, 100%. I mean, I do have my sweaty gamer moments, don't get me wrong, but yeah. When the stakes aren't high and the tension's not high, I like to think I'm pretty chill.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, no, I normally don't even rage at rage games. Like, if I play Getting Over It or Jump King, I don't rage. Just because I take those streams as I basically treat those as just chatting streams. I just chat while I play the game because I know I'm going to make mistakes. However, when I was playing Halo Infinite, and I have a couple reasons to be mad at that game, especially lore-wise, but we're not talking lore right now. The reason I got upset at that game is because the final boss fight, I kept doing the same thing over and over and over again, hitting my head against a brick wall on, I think it was normal or heroic difficulty, just trying to freaking play the game normally. And I was just struggling to kill the final boss. And I genuinely was getting so angry on my stream.
Mm-hmm.
Ender, you came from Twitter? Hey, that's probably, it might be one of the first. Actually, I don't think that's true, but glad to have you here. Bringing up lore, what a nerd. Hey, I love my lore. You bro, we were supposed to end our podcast that we recorded today. We were supposed to end it at like 2-hour mark. We kept going for another 20 minutes because we talked about lore, about Dead Space, Halo, and Star Wars. And it was fun. Personally, we were talking about why the flood. I was trying to ask what is scarier, the flood or necromorphs. I personally say flood. In my opinion, I will always stand by the flood.
Ooh, that's a good question.
If you read the lore, I love the flood. The flood's like novel lore from reading the books is so good.
I think the more you know about, let's say, random marine from whatever universe,
Yeah.
The more you know about the necromorphs, the less scarier they are. But the less you know about them, the more scary they
That's fair, because, you know, like, if you didn't know that you needed to cut off the limbs to kill them, or that you destroying the marker stops them, that would be a different story.
Because it's terrifying to not understand why your friends are turning inside out and now trying to kill you. But once you discover that the Flood has a higher intelligence, that's when that becomes scarier.
Yeah, it's even worse. It's like the exact opposite. It's like the more you learn about necromorphs, the less scary they are. But the more you learn about the Flood, the more terrifying they become, because they just
Exactly.
it's like you learn, oh god, they are just like, it's overwhelming threat.
Plus, the Flood knows how to use guns, so
Yeah, they know how to use guns, and the only way to truly kill them is to starve them to death, or use lasers. You use like plasma,
fire and laser.
it's plasma, shotguns, because, you know, shrapnel, like basically explosions, or like, it's the ways you have to get rid of the flesh as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And the easiest ways to do that are like shotguns, grenades, explosions, plasma, lasers.
Now,
Or
we say that the Flood's scarier, but then there's the ending of Dead Space 3.
I think I've got spoiled on that. Isn't it just like there's just planet-sized necromorphs? Basically?
Exactly. The moon, like basically the moon fucking wakes up.
Well, and you want to know what's funny is that if you know the lore of Halo, that literally happens in Halo lore. The final form of the Gravemind is a planet Gravemind, basically. And once the Gravemind reaches that level, they can just like enter slipspace with the planet without using a ship. They can just like teleport the planet anywhere in the galaxy, which is terrifying.
Yeah, it's almost like, in a lot of ways, like the necromorphs are almost kind of like a proto Flood, right? Like, and so are the humans in it, right? Like the humans aren't as able to like travel the stars and stuff in Dead Space, it seems. So,
dude, they need to fix the remake.
Covenant.
No, there's no Covenant. And that's why, like, I really hope they fix the Dead Space remake, because I tried streaming it recently, but it just, the frame rate, like, and the performance it was taking from my computer was just too much.
I heard that from some people that, like, it just wasn't working well.
It maxes out your CPU.
Ooh, that's no good.
The entire time you play it, it will have 100% CPU, which hurts both VTube Studio, so my model was moving like a slideshow, and it also means that the stream itself, like, because here's the thing, if the stream looks like it's going to be smooth on OBS, if you actually watch it on YouTube, because your CPU is pushed to the limit, it can't even give the stream a good stream. And it's nothing to do with bitrate. It's just because your CPU is so bad that like what you're seeing in OBS is completely different of what people are seeing on stream. It's rough. It's rough.
Yeah, also, no, I can see you'd almost need like a dedicated separate system for the VTube Studio or the recording.
And I don't like using two PC. I have a second PC.
Me either.
I can use it as a stream PC, but the only issue I have with that is audio delay. Like, that's the biggest thing that annoys me, is the audio is desynced.
Chat saying use your GPU to stream then.
No, I do. I use my GPU. Dead Space.
Yep.
Well, here's the thing. Dead Space mainly uses your CPU to run for some reason. And VTube Studio uses your CPU to run, and you can't change that. Another issue, so it's like, even if you're gonna, so those two combined cause the issue of you can't, like, I stream with my NVIDIA GPU. I have a 3090, or is it 3080? One or the other. I have a good GPU. It should work fine.
I wonder if there'd be a way, because I know VTube Studio actually has a really good phone mode. I wonder if there would be a way to just like prop up your phone, use that for VTube Studio. Not that you should have to do this, but
yeah, I've been thinking about it. But you know what? I was feeling so bad about my Dead Space stream, and then I saw a clip because I was constantly tuning, because I chose the mistake. I streamed Dead Space at the same time Selene from Niji Sanji. Do you know her?
Mm-hmm. No, I haven't. No.
Okay, really entertaining VTuber, really funny. But she was streaming Dead Space at the same time I was, and it looked like on my end she wasn't having any issues, but apparently there was just whenever I was tuning in, like the 3 or 4 times I tuned in. But somebody uploaded a clip of her being angry at the game and her frames. Basically, she had to reduce her frame rate to 60 and do a whole bunch of shenanigans to try. But her model was having the same issue I was. It was a slideshow. So
Yeah, you gotta basically become a StarCraft 2 pro player and just turn your settings down to minimum.
yeah, it sucks. Dead Space the remake needs to be refined. But so here's the thing. Going back to Halo Infinite real quick. The reason I'm mad at Halo Infinite is because of the fact that in lore they're trying to like if you actually like listen to the lore like I did because I was so excited for Halo Infinite's new lore and stuff. So I found all the audio logs and listened to it. They're trying to advertise that there's a new race that's more terrifying to the Forerunners than the Flood, and that was a race that was immune to, or like that there was a race that's immune to the Halo rings. That the Halo ring doesn't do anything to them, despite they're an intelligent race.
It's despite the fact that the Halo rings are the reset button.
Mm-hmm. Which, what I wonder now, what happens if the Flood infect them?
Yeah, that's a good question. But are the Flood aren't a problem anymore, are they? Because I haven't been keeping up with.
They're not,
Halo.
but they are. Because here's the thing: the Flood
Okay.
still exists on the Ark. That has been confirmed because the Halo ring didn't fully kill them all, thanks to Halo Wars 2 lore. Halo Wars 2 has DLC where the Flood High Charity is still on the Ark, and it's just been quarantined off. There's no Gravemind anymore, but there's a lot of Flood forms in there, and basically the brutes had and the humans had to fight back against the Flood on the Ark.
Gotcha.
Also, another good thing to point out, the Flood, there's a very good chance the Flood left the galaxy like during the Forerunner Flood War. So there's a good chance that the Flood are outside the Milky Way galaxy just waiting to come back.
Yeah, either that or propagating in another one, right? So
And
makes
also,
sense.
there's Flood and quarantine on other Halo rings and stuff. So yeah, it's like the Flood still exists, but they're trying to make a new threat that is not, good for that.
Well, it just reminds me of like Halo 4, right? It seemed like this enemy's kind of coming out of nowhere.
It's like I just wish they because here's the thing, I don't think 343 realizes the game is called Halo. What is the Halo ring? The Halo ring is a weapon. What is that weapon used for? To kill all sentient life to starve the Flood to death. The Flood is the main antagonist of Halo. You can say it was the Covenant, but I will heavily disagree. The Flood have always been the main antagonist, and they always should be. The Flood is the most intimidating threat the galaxy ever could face, and it's so exciting, and like people have been so hyped because we want the Flood back, and there's little Easter eggs on Halo Infinite about like a Flood spores being contained on the Halo ring. The Flood are way more interesting than anything 343 could come up with. I'm sorry.
I think they kind of wrote themselves into a corner with the Flood as well because they made it so virulent that they had to basically say like it's dead, not a problem anymore because like its ability to propagate and spreads too good story-wise.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it very quickly can become overwhelming, but I mean, Dead Space literally did the same exact thing, and look at how good Dead Space has been.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure there isn't any other enemies in Dead Space other than necromorphs, or am I wrong?
No, not really. It's just like what form the necromorph takes, basically,
Yeah, but
right?
yeah.
Or like in what conditions you're fighting them in, right? Because then you get like the frozen ones, or like the ones that are in the shadows or the vents, or
This is why I would prefer if Halo would keep like Covenants, keep like aliens to fight besides the Flood, but still capitalize on the Flood being an enemy to fight. And I know some people hate fighting the Flood. They find them a boring enemy. I love fighting them, especially because of just the lore. The more I've learned about them, the more interested I get in them.
now what a better direction they could have moved. That's very little to change. Instead of saying that this is another enemy the Forerunners couldn't fight, is it should have been it's an enemy from the Covenant's distant past.
That's what the Banished were, and I love the Banished. The Banished is a separate section of the Covenant who they were exiled or they left the Covenant out of choice, and they formed a new faction. And like the whole lore is, humanity, we were losing to the Covenant, but the Covenant, when they were attacking the Banished, they never won. The Banished have always been a stronger force than the Covenant. They've been slowly building their forces, getting stronger and stronger, that they could never put a big dent in the Banished. And I was like, okay, the Banished are badass. I love the Banished. I still love the Banished, even if the new Halo game kind of wasn't as good as it could have been.
Yeah, and do it kind of like that. Do it like at the very beginning of like make it whatever this enigmatic enemy is that we haven't ran into yet. It's what actually caused the Covenant to be like, no, we got to group together. Like we actually need to stick together or we're gonna get wiped out.
Yep.
Like make that like a part of the lore, and like it would make more sense than like here's this person that's immune to the plot device that's
Yeah.
not supposed to
I
be
think they're called,
able to be
they're
immune
called
to.
just the Forgotten. I think that was their name.
Hmm.
In Halo Infinite. But the big thing about that with Halo, with that whole thing, I'm pretty sure there was like tying back into like holding. I asked like what happens if they get infected. I have no idea, but there is there's lore in the Flood. Cough cough stasis update lore. Yeah, it's true Destiny lore. When it comes to Halo and all that, what was I gonna say? Totally didn't forget the name of that update. When it comes to that Halo had there was like this forerunner who sunk a ship into the planet because there was a special race of aliens that were endangered on that planet that could like survive the harshest conditions on planets, and they were like, we cannot let the Flood get a hold of these things.
Oh no, they'd have too strong of a tool, right? Because it's like they're kind of like the Flood's kind of like the Zerg, right? Like they would take the best parts of it and like make it part of them.
Yep, and make it apart. And it's like, so imagine if like I think it was like basically it was a planet that had like Jupiter-like conditions. Imagine if the Flood got a hold of an animal that could survive Jupiter-like conditions. That's like, oh god, yeah, no standing back.
Hey, but gameplay wise, no matter what they get, they're not going to be immune to an assault rifle.
True. Oh my god. That's you're not wrong. I mean, actually, let's. I know I've been going off about Halo again for too long. So I'm curious. So where did you come with the design for your character and whatever? And do you have any lore or no lore to your character?
I mean, there's very little lore. Let's put it like that. Like I said, like the general like look and feel of the character comes from Final Fantasy 14, but the general premise is certain themes and less like a cohesive backstory. I wanted to lean into a lot of the purple, because purple is like top 3 of my favorite colors. My favorite colors growing up were both red and blue, and putting them together, what do you got? Purple, right?
Yeah.
I settled on silver, like 9 years ago because like it pairs very well with purple, and my real life hair, like I started to get gray hair when I was like 16. It's just genetics.
Yeah.
So like a lot of my hair is peppered silver. So like kind of has that link to me. The name actually came about because I quit World of Warcraft in the Mist of Pandaria expansion, and there was a big element in that called like the Shas. They were negative manifestations of feelings. There's like the Sha of sorrow, Sha of fear, etc. But I left that game because I was feeling burnt out. There was a lot of bad feelings from it. And I wanted to play something that was more uplifting, which, 14 definitely has that feeling. So I took the first thing, Sha, like it was the Shas from the World of Warcraft games, and then I put something inspiring behind it, Aspire. So that's kind of roughly where it came, and then it evolved from there. But clothing wise, like I just like the aesthetic of the gear. They introduced the machinist class during Heaven's Ward, the first expansion.
Is Final Fantasy 14 still updated?
Oh my, yes! Like it has not stopped since. They just released Endwalker earlier last year.
Because they're what Final Fantasy are they on now? Are they like on 20 or something now?
Oh, Final Fantasy in general? They're making 16. 16 is going to be released this year.
So but 13's still been getting a lot of love and all that since it came out.
14, yeah.
14, sorry, 14. Yeah.
Yeah, 14's the MMO.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, sorry.
Okay.
I was going to say there's technical multiple entries within the same numbering schemes too, right? Like there's 2 Final Fantasy 10s, there's 3 Final Fantasy 13s.
Jesus.
There's and then there's remakes too, right? They remade 7. So, you're probably getting up to 20, and especially if you add like Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced.
When did Final Fantasy go from turn-based combat to more like hack and slash from what I've seen?
I would say
Because I didn't like the turn-based stuff.
I'd say probably 12, but that's still turn-based, I guess. 13's kind of a mix, but it's still slightly turn-based. I would say it totally went action RPG-ish in Final Fantasy 15.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
You kind of still queue up abilities, kind of, but like it's not like it's my turn to act. I go, now it's your turn.
Yeah. I'm curious with your when it comes to streaming also. So are you kind of just like trying to just like do it more like a hobby, just relax with it?
Yeah, I mean, I try to put what effort I can into improving it, to, like reach more people, but like I don't stress over it, I guess is what the thing is. I don't have a specific goal that if I don't reach it, I'm going to be disappointed. It's every little victory or gain or boost is just a happy feeling, right? It's like, hey, I did that.
That's smart.
Yeah, so it's kind of like just not putting too many eggs in one basket.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh man, I feel like I need to adopt some of that mindset because then again, I've been kind of on a grind, especially this year, because like I'm just trying to get my content out there as much as I can. I'm hardcore grinding to the point where I am facing burnout or I'm stressing out. But that's because I'm so passionate about this. I want to get to a point where I have more free time to invest as much time and effort into the doing this stuff that I can.
It makes sense. I think the balance that's hard to reach is you try to find the amount where it's a loving hobby, right? Like you love to do it and you're happy when you're doing it. Because even things we love to do, like I'll take an example, like you know your favorite food, right? Like, what's your favorite meal? What's your favorite meal?
Alfredo.
Chicken Alfredo. How many days in a row would you have to eat chicken Alfredo to be like, I want to eat something else?
Probably 4 to 5.
You know, we're on day 6, and guess what? There's another plate of chicken Alfredo. Things start looking bad, right? And it's kind of the same with like content creation and streaming. It's a thing you love to do, but if we're not mixing it up and we're going too hard, it's the only thing we're doing right now. So our brains start looking for that change. What am I going to do that's different? What am I going to do that's...
Especially if you have ADHD.
Yeah, exactly, right? So...
yeah, combine that with
drink
ADHD.
20 cups of coffee a day.
I wish that would work for me, but even when drinking energy drinks, I still don't feel much of a rush or any energy from it. I don't get much of a boost, and I think it's just caffeine doesn't work on me for some reason, and it sucks. Basically, I just drink Gamer Supps because I like the flavor.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Willow's got a question.
Yeah, do you have any strategies towards dealing with / managing burnt out or burnout? What about you, Sha?
Well, that's a good question. Do I have any specific? No, because I think we're all, mostly as people, very bad at like categorizing what actually works for us. We kind of just stumble upon it. And we're like, that's good, and then we forget it when we need it later.
Yeah.
I think what I like to do, because a lot of my streaming doesn't involve my real life friends. Like it's just kind of me interacting with the chat and stuff, right? Because I'm not doing a lot of collabs with people that I know from real life. I think switching between kind of those two worlds helps me. Like if I'm feeling burnt out for a week, and especially with my mindset, right? I don't have a specific goal.
Yeah.
I can take that break from streaming. It's not a big deal. Sporadic,
and you probably don't feel guilty about doing it.
No, right? Because it's not like I'm releasing a schedule every week, like let's say on Twitter, saying like I'm going to be on.
Oh, this is why I don't.
Days.
Despite the fact I've abandoned scheduling streams, I still feel guilty when I don't stream. And I know that's a bad mindset to have, but it's just like I just feel like I'm not working as hard as I should be.
The way I like to like combat that line of thought for myself is I might not be scheduling, which isn't great for my viewers, but I am also better about telling them when I'm going to stream. So like 2 or 3 hours before I stream, I'll usually put a tweet and then I'll
Yeah.
usually go live half an hour or 20 minutes before I do with like a starting soon stream, and I have a timer on it so they can actually see a clock ticking down to when I'm starting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But back to the question, I would say
Yeah.
I'm mixing my real life and my cyber life. That's what you want to call it. I flip flop and I take breaks in both.
And I would say for me, take time to do something else, whether that's literally going to work or literally just watching anime or TV show for like an hour or two. Maybe just take a whole day off just to lay in bed and relax, or yeah, just do whatever. Find something else to get your mind off whatever's stressing you out. 'Cause we all need breaks. I needed a break recently, so cooking is really helped me. Just picked a random day, cook a random meal. That's what you've been up to.
Yeah, like especially during COVID, I would pick like maybe every 2 weeks. I don't like making mundane meals, but I like making things that are fancy, like or like extra special or have a lot of work to it.
Yeah.
So like I would pick like one day every 2 weeks. I'd be like, I'm cooking, and I would find an interesting recipe. For example, there was a cooking contest on Twitter recently. Jay Sizzle, he does the VTube cooking like collaborations. Like he'll make meals based off of VTubers. And I had to make a meal that involved coffee, which was really interesting. So I made coffee braised ribs. Like I actually had ground coffee on the ribs, and it actually tasted really good.
Yeah. Oh, sounds good. I wish I do so much. I don't manage my time very well, so I don't really, you know, I look at cooking and I'm just like that's such a waste of time for something that's gonna be done and eaten. And I feel like I need to change that mindset because I do enjoy cooking. It's just like the time it takes sometimes it takes a toll on my head because I just go I want to be doing something else right now. I don't know.
No, I feel you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. Always good to look after yourself. It is. You need to take after yourself.
Oh,
Look after yourself.
those didn't link well. I'll give those later.
What was it?
I was gonna share a picture, but I didn't actually put the picture. Just put a link, so I got rid of them.
Ah, okay, gotcha. Oh man, yeah. So I'm curious. Actually, may I ask how old you are? If that's not too much.
I am turning 33 this year.
Oh wow.
Still feel like I'm 26, but
Wow. That's you know what I've met a lot of people who are in their 30s. I'm just like they sound like they'd be in their like either late 20s or early 20s.
I think at a certain point, like it's my lifestyle too, right? Like I'm not living a serious life, so if you're not living a super serious life, you're gonna come off as younger. Like I still game just as much as I did, 5 years ago, 8 years ago. So
Yeah. I mean, meanwhile, I'm sitting over here, like scared like terrified at the fact I'm about to turn 24 in April.
wouldn't stress.
I know I shouldn't stress over my age, but I'm just like, man, I feel like my life is going by so quick. I've not accomplished much.
And that's the thing too. You only start to really feel you accomplish anything if you're working at it, mind you. Everyone's life situation's different,
Yeah.
but I didn't feel like I was doing anything productive until I was like 28. And I had done things like I had accomplished certain goals in my life, but I didn't get that sense until I was getting close to my 30s.
That's fair.
And I think it's the thing we kind of realize after a while is like our parents didn't know what the hell they were doing. They were living day to day.
Yeah, that's fair. Can I ask which content creators inspired you to like or like what if there's any content creators that inspired you to make content or that you kind of have model yourself after or like influenced who you are, who might they be?
That's a good question. Well, there's a really famous Final Fantasy VTuber. Their name's Haru Hisatsu. Probably butchered the last name, but I guess that's what kind of like pushed me in the direction to actually start VTubing. Not that I didn't have like all the elements there to start already, but I kind of saw a lot of their content and I liked watching it, and it made me feel like not self-conscious about doing it, especially since like, my real life sex doesn't match the view of the model, right? So I guess that kind of just eased my way into it. They did. But it's really been the people I've met along the way, especially on Twitter, that's kind of kept me going and like dive a little deeper into it.
Yeah.
Like one of the first VTubers I ever saw outside of that, I don't think she's streaming actively right now, but it was Octopi. She's a octopus cat
I've interacted with
YouTuber.
her on Twitter.
Yeah. So it's been a while since she's like live streamed, but like she was one of the first VTubers I watched.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it just made me excited. Like it made me happy to be a fan, other than just kind of like a passive watcher.
Yeah.
And then from there it kind of spirals out. And, there's 3 or 4, maybe even 5 people that I kind of follow regularly, as opposed to like sporadically. So.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Oh man, yeah, no. I was gonna ask that, like, who did you start watching? Who was like the first VTuber you watched? But that answers that question.
Yeah, I would say the 3 others that like I watch more routinely would be like Neko Mickey, Rena Star, and then I haven't watched them in a little bit, but I used to watch T the Demon a lot.
So none of like it sounds like you don't really watch some of the biggest VTubers.
No, not really. Like, some of them are way bigger than me that I've mentioned, but yeah, I wouldn't say the massive ones. Not the ones that are like synonymous with the word VTuber.
Like Iron Mouse, Project Melody,
No,
all those.
I'm sure I've seen some of their clips, but I don't watch them religiously or even semi.
That makes sense. That's fair. Again, everyone watches different things. I've probably fallen way too far into the VTuber rabbit hole. I mean, I just fell into the content creator rabbit hole. I watch so many content creators, like it's crazy.
Well, I guess you could consider Lucy Pyre bigger. Like she's pretty big. I've seen a lot of her stuff. I wouldn't say like I watch the streams or anything, but
yeah,
I find a lot of
I'm
her,
not saying they're not big. I'm just I guess I was more asking like the mainstream VTubers.
And that's what I said. Like I like if I were to say mainstream, I would have to pick one. I say Lucy Pyre is probably the biggest one that I've watched.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I discovered her because I watch a lot on the side like Asmongold stuff, just because I find it's interesting the way he talks about things.
Yeah.
And then he does video reviews and like reactions, so like he's watched a lot of her stuff.
Good. Sorry, gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, I guess I probably just haven't heard of them then. And I guess, yeah, there's going to be big VTubers I have not even heard of. Like, I didn't know who RPR was until somewhat recently, and apparently he's a pretty big VTuber.
Yeah, and I've never heard of them too, right? So that just drives the point home.
Yep. Again, the internet, there's so many people trying to be content creators now, it's insane.
It is definitely saturated in certain ways.
Very much so. It's a very saturated market. It's why it's like what Doug says. If everyone else is making a hamburger shop, on a street, every content creator is making a hamburger shop. You got to find a way to make your hamburger shop stand out if you want to be seen.
Yeah, you either gotta make the best hamburger and be seen and be known, or you gotta start making pizza.
Or you gotta make a hybrid burger, like put spinach in your burger, and make the most delicious spinach burger that no one else has seen before.
I think we're very much in a time where if you wanted to get into live streaming, now mind you, to what degree that changes things, but if you wanted to get into it, it's never been more accessible.
True, very much so. Just be careful about where you download OBS, because there is a scam OBS that'll give you malware.
Oh, yes. I've gotten lots of messages from certain places, too. There's been a couple routine scams on Twitter that's been DM'd.
Oh, yeah.
I think the latest one is, it looks like a YouTube video, and it says, like, you can get 10,000 Twitter followers if you click this link.
Oh, I've not even seen that. I'm glad I haven't. Yeah. But, the scammers really make me depressed. Just depressed that they exist. It's just like... people exist solely to ruin other people's lives.
Well, and I've had the unique pleasure of trolling people because you get those telephone scam calls all the time, and I'll lead them down as far through that conversation as I can without like doing anything to me. just to waste their time. Because if they're
Oh wow.
because if I'm trolling them and like wasting their time, they're not calling other people, right? So,
Yep.
so
That's why I love that there's like a guy who scams scammers, like acts like an old lady, and it's just like, oh, I'm sorry, Sonny, I seem to have opened up my my son's YouTube video. I'm watching pandas eat bamboo right now.
Steam card. What's a Steam card?
It's just, oh god, yeah, no, scammers deserve to get scammed right back.
Oh yeah, and I've got no patience for it, but like I said, I'll have fun at their expense and just to waste their time.
That's awesome. I don't have the patience for that. If someone tries to scam me, I just am like, I don't want to waste my time on them, so I hang up immediately. But if I was a more patient person, I'd probably be doing the same thing.
Well, I think that they wherever like I think a lot of this happens in India, but I think there's been a lot of crackdown on it lately because when I try to like speak to them and be like, oh okay, and like just lead them along, a lot of times they'll just hang up the phone now. So I think they've kind of realized at a certain point.
Yeah.
I must not be the only one.
Yeah, exactly, Ender. One less person suffering.
Yeah, and I'm not suffering, right? Because like I knew from the first millisecond it's a scam, so they're not gonna get anything from me.
I've yet to fall for a scam, except for when I commission some art, because some artists are just, they give me art, and I'm just very disappointed by what I get. Like, I commissioned someone for a VTuber model for way too much, and as soon as I saw the drawing they made of the model, I was like, I hate this. This does not look good at all.
Yeah, and that was very because like I originally had another model. This is my model 2.0, and I was very scared going forward, trying to find the artist for my second model. But I was very lucky to find Sayanadas, who made my model. I was lucky to find her because like without me asking, she did a sketch of what she was going to make. So I was like, damn, if an artist is doing that without me putting $1 down, like that's huge. Like I trust this girl.
Yeah, the person who made my model is also made one of my closest friends, Quizzy's model. So I was like, yeah, I can probably trust him to make a decent model.
Trusted source.
Oh yeah, I know my model is a bit different than most. That's just because he uses a different kind of shading style than others. But
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I do have plans to try and get a second model, although I might rebrand a little bit, or just because I have an idea for a version of myself with lore and how to make myself look more unique. Because, you know, one of the big selling points of being a VTuber is if you make a very unique looking model, people are probably going to be more interested.
Oh, 100%, right? It's got that one element that makes you stand out from the crowd.
Yep, and that's why I'm very tempted. I need to talk with somebody who can help me make a reference sheet or like a sketch of what I'm thinking for my model. It'd be very similar to what I have now, but there's some big differences that I would have.
No, that makes sense to me.
I'm still going to go for the interviewer style.
Makes sense. If you need any recommendations, let me know. I can send a few model artists' names to you if you want to check out their stuff.
Appreciate it. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Main thing I need right now is just someone help me come up with a sketch for what I'm thinking, like getting my ideas out on paper. Because the big idea is trying to combine classy with cyborg is kind of hard.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I'm trying to think. There's a character I'm thinking of a series that's kind of pulls that off well, but I can't think of it right now. I'll come back to it.
There's somebody in my head too that I swear they have like a. Oh, never mind. I think character I'm thinking of is not. It was just like a VTuber avatar I saw a friend wearing.
Oh, you know what? I think I was getting not confused, but I think what popped in my head was the No Guns Life anime. It's like he's a detective, but he's like a cyborg with a gun for a head.
Oh yeah.
So there's this one picture of him like smoking a cigarette, and that's what kind of came to my head.
That's fair. That's very fair. Oh my gosh. No. A big thing I'm trying to do this year as well, because I'm trying to come up with unique content because I want to stand out more. And I know that I'm kind of just sick of just going along and going with the crowd, and that's what I'm trying to. Whether that's playing games that other people aren't playing that much, or I'm making content that other people aren't making. I'm trying to mix things up.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, trying to be unique. I feel like that's a very important thing. And a big thing that people need to notice is in order to know, if you're going to be a content creator, a successful one, you got to find out what makes you unique. And you have to genuinely ask yourself that, like, what can you do that is your strong suit that no one else has either done yet or cannot do in the same way you can do it? And you have to have the confidence to say that.
Yeah, and I think that's, for people that are focusing on growth and stuff, that's going to be like one of the major things that you develop. Like, what are my strong points? What are my weak points? How do I make my strongs even stronger? Because viewers like weak points. Like, when people have failings, that just makes them interesting. Nobody's perfect.
Yep, flaws make people interesting.
To make that one thing that you're good at stand out is huge. Or, honestly, you could make your failure stand out too. I guess that would happen.
Yep, like that. Like if I have to say a flaw, like my friend Quizzy, he's arguing that he wants to enslave cat girls, and he's trying to come up with the reason why that's okay. He's like, yes, if cat girls were genetically created, I'd want them to be like Necopara, and I'm like, that's enslavement, and he's like, no. That's gonna be
your
funny.
personal want and the logistical reality of it's two different things.
Exactly. It's a funny argument. So if people think that's a big fault of his, I think people should also make sure that they pay attention to his positive points too, because the man's awesome. I love him. He's a good friend. So do you have a VTuber group you play with, or like friends you play with regularly on stream?
I mean, I've collaborated with a few people. I wouldn't say I collaborate a ton just if you compare it to other people, but
yeah.
I would say like the 3 or 4 the most is there's Little Necto, who made my theme song. There's Neko Mickey. I'm usually there for movie night when she has it. She'll live stream a movie on her Discord, and like all of her fans will watch it together, and we'll just laugh and shit talk. But I did a collaboration with those 2 and T the Demon. We did an Elden Ring seamless co-op once. That was really fun.
Gotcha.
And then I've done a few others. Like I've played like Phasmophobia with like Rena Star, a few other people. I think Aaron Soar's another one. So I would say I'm the person that, collaborates the most, but there's definitely a group of 5 or 6 people that when I do that, they're usually the first people I check to see if they're interested. Not that I'm not open for collabs, but
yeah. I mean, again, I feel like every VTuber has a main group that they go back to whenever they even if they say you're a very popular VTuber, I still feel like they're gonna have like this central group of friends they're still gonna reach out to when they want to do stuff, and everyone has that.
And most of the time I'm interacting with these people, it's off stream too, right? Like, for example, I mentioned T a couple of times. Like, we've played League of Legends a bunch completely, like, off stream, right? Just messing around. And
yeah. Yeah, that's fair. And again, so that's why it's like, I think like it's good to have that normalcy of having a group to go back to. It's good, and I feel like it's also something that shouldn't be frowned upon, like by people who are like, "Oh, you never invite me in anything." It's just like, well, that's just because you eventually just develop into a routine where it's like these people are more available most of the time. They're the people I have got closest to, or like the people I vibe with the most. And so it's like it's nothing against anyone. Like if you know a lot of people, it shouldn't be a problem. Like, hey, I feel like I'm being ignored. For one, yeah, you can bring that up, but just don't expect someone to always to reach out to you first,
No, yeah, it's like one of those things that you can even extend to like real life relationships, right? Like it's not on any one party to like make plans, right? Or make them happen, or it should feel natural. It should feel completely normal. It's just something that just organically happens. Like, let's say, for example, you know this person and you're like, hey, I'm playing StarCraft 2. This person's super into sci-fi stuff. Like, let me reach out to them. Like, hey, what are you doing? You want to play StarCraft 2?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, let me download it, right? Like, it should be that seamless.
And yeah, it should be like if you find someone who's into something that your other friends aren't into. I mean, it should be like a no-brainer. Like, hey, my normal friends aren't into this, but I do know another friend of mine that I don't hang out with that often that is into this. It's just like how I didn't like Genshin, and so I would never talk to this one friend who was addicted to Genshin, my friend Ruby. And so I would never talk to them. But the moment I was like, I want to try Genshin, so I reached out to them, and then we hit it off really well. Now we're really close friends because we played a lot of Genshin together.
And it'd be like me, right? Like if someone were to start playing like Final Fantasy 14, yeah, I'm sure I'm a great resource of person to reach out to like show you the ins and outs. But I can also understand too, like it doesn't make for the most interesting content if I'm there and I know how to do it all, right? Like sometimes it's
Yeah.
the discovery that's the cool thing.
Yeah, it's true. That can't often be the
So-
case.
Some pros and cons, but as long as it doesn't feel forced, I would say that's the thing, right? Like you should be able to gel the person's personality vibes well with you. It doesn't seem like it's a competition. It's it's a collaboration in all sense of the word.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, like it's again kind of why I really like interviewing people because I can just sit down. There's no need for feel like competition. It's just two people chat, shooting the breeze, just chatting about whatever comes to mind. Again,
100%.
I feel like it's more like a talk show or a podcast than an interview, but I still feel like it's an interview. I feel like it's still worth calling an interview.
We just gotta get like the studio. Like we'll get like do you know how like Saturday Night Live gets like the chairs?
Oh,
Do
I'm
that,
getting
like,
that.
random YouTubers up?
I have
Good
that.
man.
I have something on the way. I don't. They just are a bit backed up on commissions at the moment, but I have sent my initial
Yeah.
payment. I'm excited because it also will allow me to go with my rebrand if I ever do. If they go the route I'm thinking I want them to go. So that'll be really neat if they do go that route because again, the big idea that I have is actually I shouldn't say it. I should be careful about what I'm going to say.
Hey, yeah, you gotta play some cards close to your chest, yeah. Right?
Yeah, I gotta watch what I say so I don't spoil anything. Also, a big thing that I'm planning to do more of this year is people seem to really like my news-based content I'm doing on my second channel. It already has over 100 subscribers in like 3 weeks. So,
Oh wow, that's quite impressive.
yeah, and the fact that one of the video, like just all the videos are popping off really well. People like the way I report on news. So, and I feel like there's a lot of news I should report on this week. For one, I want to cover some stuff that happened over the past 2 weeks. I meant to make one of these last week, but I just didn't have time. But I'm tempted to because the fact that there's a lot of happenings. Like for instance, PewDiePie is having a kid.
Oh wow, that is interesting.
Yeah,
Cool.
PewDiePie, Marcia is pregnant, so PewDiePie is gonna be a dad,
Woo!
which is gonna be awesome, man. I get people try to cancel Pewds a while back for the one mishap he had, but he's a good guy. Oh, and I feel like now his content's become a lot more relaxed now. It's mainly like him just kind of like adventuring around Japan.
Yeah, I've seen some of those videos. They're actually pretty cool, and it's cool that like you can get to the point where you're so comfortable with like your base that you're like, no, I'm just gonna live my life.
Yep.
Come along for the ride.
Yep, I know. It's like I mean, and his audience has like just come to be there to watch him, not so much the games he's there to play. So that's what's really nice. That's what
I think a lot of them stayed, right, for the personality. They stayed for him.
Yep, and I feel like that's the most important thing when it comes to content creation. Like, Iron Mouse just did an interview with Joey from Trash Taste, the anime man, and Joey was talking about how VTubers, a lot of them will pay for these very expensive looking models or really cool models because a big selling point of VTubers is how they look. Yes, but he's then pointed out that no matter how cool you look, if you don't have the personality to keep people entertained, if you're not entertaining, you're not going to maintain audience, and you just basically wasted money.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, that's going to be true for a lot of people. The only, I would say, counter argument to that point would be like the amount of money for something is subjective, right? Because the cost of a model may be expensive for one person, like prohibitively, and for another person, it might be just playing around money, right?
Yeah, fair. That's true.
And if you don't have a lot of other expensive hobbies, then whatever.
Yeah, true. True. Again, glad I dropped Genshin. That was an expensive hobby.
That one adds up insidiously. So
Yeah, and so did Fate Grand Order, which is which should have been the first lesson about gacha games, was when I played that game, because that game is even worse than Genshin.
there's a few of them. You know, there's Arc Knights, there's Princess Connect. There's a few that are like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot of people taking money. It's not great. What are you kind of hoping to accomplish with like Twitch or YouTube? Just are you hoping to get big, or kind of just vibe and see where it goes?
Yeah, I'd say more the second. I mean, like I said, I celebrate the victories, but for me, it's really much about the journey, not the destination.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And a lot of my streams, like I might not get more than like 2 viewers. Like some of those happen, right? But those are more my mundane streams, right? Like I'm progging like a fight in Final Fantasy 14. I'm not expecting people to. That's not going to be the most exciting content, but it also gives that kind of library of the work we did to all my friends that are in that group as well. So
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. And you'll have content like that. You will.
yeah,
You'll have streams like that where the viewership drops, but you should never like let it get to you. Again,
I've had very little negative interactions while streaming too, so it's just been a very chill time.
I've only had a couple negative, but thankfully a lot of them are behind me now, so
Mm-hmm.
it's been nice. I feel bad because I don't have like subscriber alerts on or stuff when I do these interviews, but I don't like to be distracted by people subbing or get memberships. If I ever do get memberships, like I want to focus more on the interview than what people give me.
Well, that makes sense, right? It's very different for like if you're playing a video game or an interview, right? Because an interview is a very like intimate thing, right? Like it's a one-on-one or like a two-on-one thing that's very
Yeah.
close. So like I could only see that being a very big distraction.
And that's why I feel like in the future, what I might do is I might leave alerts on like somewhere like bottom right or somewhere on the screen. Eventually, I'll figure something out. But I won't like if I get monetized, I'll probably like at the end of the stream just like address everyone, be like, "Hey, thank you for all these subs and gifts, all these memberships, all this." Like the one thing I will probably let go through is super chats in case the super chats are there to have people ask questions. Like if they want me to ask somebody something, so they donate money during the interview.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's probably a good way to do it. And that way people feel like they're being, recognized a little bit. Like, hey, I followed him and he mentioned me. That's cool. Or like subscribed or.
Yep. So like have a list of things that happened while I was streaming, but cover at the end. Unless again, if it's during the interview and somebody's like donating money to ask a question. But I feel like that's only gonna happen if my stream chat has gotten popular enough where it's just blowing by too fast for me to read.
Mm-hmm. And you look at some of these bigger streamers, right? They're not recognizing every single person that's popping up, right? Like they get followers all the time. It's just usually a little notification on the bottom or something. So
Exactly.
it makes sense.
Exactly.
You'll call out like the 5 gifted subs or like the donation or.
I really need like what if I really need to clean up my stream deck too and to take advantage of it so I can know when to like mute myself on Discord and all that, just so that way I can be like, okay, now I can talk to chat. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs. We're gonna continue listening to the interview, but yada yada stuff like that.
Yeah, my stream deck's something I definitely underutilized. Like I bought it, I was excited, like I set things up, but then like I almost forget it's there.
Same, and I really should make you better use of it because, like, I have so many scenes now and so many things I could mute and unmute that I really should be taking advantage of it, but I don't.
Yeah, like I've even got like the VTube Studio emotes on it, like, and I totally underuse it.
Oh yeah,
it's like I think if I hit this button, it should. Yeah, see, like I'll blush here in a second.
Oh, that's smart. Oh my god, why have I not thought about doing that? Like,
yeah, and I could do like the mad, like.
Instead of using my numpad, I could set up like that on my freaking Steam Deck. Like I said,
I don't have the
numpad.
I don't have the most emotes right now for this model. Like I have to probably have some more made, but like I have 3 of them. I have like crying, blushing, mad. So
I like genuinely now you've got to give me an idea. I need to make sure I do that on my stream deck at some point. Sit down and make up like a folder that goes to all my emotes hotkeys that I can just because I can label
Mhm.
them too and be like, okay, this is angry, this is sad, this is microphones being pulled out, yada yada. That would help so much because I was annoyed because I would have to memorize the numpad, but now I won't.
Yeah, like I did that because it works the same, right? Like I just put it that the hotkey that I would use for the numpad is on the Stream Deck, right? So like it's still hotkeyed there, but like you're just hitting the button,
And
and you can
yeah,
actually put a picture of the emote on it, so like you can clearly see like that is the facial expression I'm doing.
yeah, something like that. That's God, I need to do that. But again, that's more things like there's so much things like that I could do to clean up. Like if like
Mhm.
I'll spend a whole day cleaning up my Discord server, make it more accessible to people. I could spend a whole day cleaning up my Stream Deck. I could spend a whole day freaking
There's always something you can do or add. Definitely.
uh it's like
A cool
this
one I've done is do you know how like a lot of games are like dark or light? Like I can put on lights on, lights off mode for my Stream Deck if I think about it. Like I can turn off the lights so look like I'm in the dark.
nice. Very nice. If it's like a darker game, I guess.
Hmm. And yeah, and that way the model's less distracting, and because of like the way my character's made, like physiologically wise, like the eyes would glow because it's like cat eyes. So
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. Is that like a special toggle you had made for your model, or is that just something you figured out you could do?
you could just do it in VTube Studio. So like there's options you could put like hotkeys, and then you just tie it to the lighting levels.
Oh, wow, okay.
There's
Huh.
I actually have a guide on my YouTube that you can check it out. It's pretty quick. It's like
I
a 45-second guide.
I think that tomorrow I gotta spend most of the day editing. The same thing after this interview. I have to edit the next episode of the podcast that goes out tomorrow, and
Mhm.
then oh boy, this is I just like I also think I need to stream something tomorrow. I don't know what it will be, but I should stream something. Oh wait, hold on, wait, no, tomorrow I have another interview. I forgot. And then I have another interview on Saturday as well because I was gonna do one yesterday, but I had to cancel it. Push it back a week. But yeah, I'm interviewing Create My Universe, or otherwise known
Ooh.
as Flip. He's another VTuber I met recently who is doing some really cool things with his own lore. Like he has like this guy he's paying money to animate his own like world lore he's creating for his VTuber and all his characters.
Mhm.
He's doing a lot
That's
of
really
cool
cool.
stuff. Oh yeah. But yeah, lots of cool stuff. Oh man. What kind? So, in terms of games, so do you like MMOs, RPGs, and you said even shooters?
Yeah. Like I like a variety of them. Like it's the games I've been playing the most recently have been like League of Legends, Call of Duty, specifically Warzone. I've been playing Valheim again. I picked that back up. I was playing Elden Ring a lot.
I
I
need
was
to get back to
playing.
Elden Ring. God,
I've got like 3 playthroughs that are like 3 inches from finishing the game. I just get excited, and then I give it a break, and then I get excited again.
you know
Um,
what? There's two games I need to stream this week: Elden Ring, Barrow Trauma, because a friend wants me to stream Barrow Trauma,
mhm.
so I'll be sure to do that. Um, I don't know if I'm going to stream anything other than the interview tomorrow, because tomorrow might just be an editing day and a clean up my Stream Deck day to make things better. Might be a good day
Yeah.
to just spend doing that. Someone in chat said, "Be cool if you met Niji Sanji." It would be. I'd love to meet those VTubers. Same with Nux, Vishojo, um, Idle En, the newer one that's kind of popping off. Phase Connect. I've interacted with a couple of those people from Phase Connect.
Cool.
Um, yeah, there's a lot of cool VTubers. I would love to be the VTuber interviewer, Omega. I really would. I'd love to have my name get out there as being the person who interviews people and sits down and chat. Luca Kaneshiro. Yeah, Luca's awesome. Dude, Luca would be so fun. Luca, Ike, Selen, um, uh, all the really cool people out there. Rosami, Petra. I've watched so many of them. The newer gens, not so much. I've hardly seen any from them, but it is. So what made you choose to go for like a cat girl aesthetic instead of like a
Well,
cat
like
boy?
I don't know. It's just I always kind of liked playing female characters in MMOs. Like I'm a dude in real life. Like I live as a guy, so like it's fun to just be something else. Like I never pretended to be a girl, for example. Like I didn't RP or anything.
Yeah.
But like aesthetically, I find the female form like pleasing. Like I like women. So to spend countless hours and hundreds of hours and such staring at a screen, like I'll look at something that I find aesthetically pleasing. And I find in a lot of games too, it almost seems like the developers put more effort into making the female like models. So just from like a quality standpoint, it seems like the female models get more polish.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
I'd agree with that. I would agree with that. Like, I think that in a lot of games it's that way with female characters being a lot more polished or look a lot more unique.
and honestly, like it started from like a really silly reason. The first female character I've ever made in an MMO was on World of Warcraft. It was a Blood Elf Paladin tank, but I just thought it would be funny to have this like stick thin, like tiny girl like getting tank busted. It was a funny thought, right? Like it seems like they shouldn't be able to like even lift a crate, but
That's
like
the
they're getting
same
smashed
thought.
by a god's leg.
Dude, that's the same thought behind making a D&D character. You make some really wacky combination, like a freaking barbarian cleric who breaks people's backs just so he can heal them and charge them money.
Yeah, it's like the gnome barbarian, right? Like it's the same sort of idea. So it started with a joke, but then it just became a pattern.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Man, I know that like for me, I tend to always make male characters that look like me just because I like to personally put myself in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's always been how I view it. But then that's probably also why I can't be crazy in video games. Like I don't know about you, but when I like play Fallout or something like that, I have to play a morally good character. I just don't feel good playing a evil character.
Yeah, first playthrough, I'm almost always the good character, just because like that's what I would gravitate more as a real person. Like it wouldn't be until like later playthroughs that I do like the fun or chaotic one or.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I've never been able to pull off a chaotic playthrough. It's why I'm hesitant to play Undertale and do the genocide route because I loved the freaking pacifist route so much. God, I need to make that into a video series. I have a VODs channel. It's up on my VODs channel, although I don't think I link to my VODs channel anymore, which is probably a problem. But if eventually if I can have an editor edit those together for me in a way that I like them editing it, that'd be great. Because I'd love to put out the full story. Because it was like 8 streams or something, 5 to 8 streams of Undertale, maybe 11. It was really fun because I had some friends voice acting the characters for me.
Ooh, that's fun.
Oh yeah, it was very very fun playing through it with my friends. That's why I think Undertale multiplayer could be fun because that is a mod that now exists. You can play Undertale with friends.
Oh, that's yeah. Oddly, for as popular as the game is, I have never played Undertale, and I know that's probably like, oh my god, you haven't played that game. But
I mean, I didn't play it till like last year, so I'm not.
Yeah.
I know some people might be surprised, but I'm not.
Like I feel like I know almost everything about it without playing it.
True, fair.
And there's like certain games that like I enjoyed way more watching someone else do the complete playthrough than I know I would have playing it.
Let's see. Also, be nice if you soon play Assassin's Creed series. I played a lot of the Assassin's Creed. I played like 3 or 4 games, so I guess that's not a lot because they have a lot of games now. I'd like to, but I feel like I want to save that for when I have a dedicated audience there to watch me. That way I can stream, because those would be really relaxed playthroughs. Because the way I played through Assassin's Creed, I'm kind of a completionist, so
Yeah, the perfect kill, not a sloppy one.
I was saying, yeah, that's why it's like if I play a stealth game, I have to go for the stealthiest, perfect stealth run. I don't like going like if you like it was a Far Cry gives you the option to go in guns blazing or go in stealth. I love going in stealth, and I know some people get so bored of that, but it's just how I like to play. I was like. I like to play sneaky, and especially with Assassin's Creed. Question: is that you're supposed to say rogue, like the RPG class? Did I spell it wrong? I did. I spelled it rouge. I'm sorry.
Rouge. It's okay. It's okay. I got a little rouge on my cheek. I speak French, so I'm Canadian. I can speak a little French, so rouge is fine.
Thank you for pointing that out to me. Oh wait, I only spelled it in the title wrong too, of all things.
Here,
Just the title. Everywhere else I
here,
spelled it correct.
I'll just give my model some red, and that way it'll be correct.
Oh,
There we go.
you can like alter your color.
Yeah.
Is that like again
Just,
through just VTuber Studio?
no, so you would have to actually open up the do you know
Thank you for
how you
pointing
have
out,
like,
Jose.
the flat image? Like there's the image that like the artist, like it almost looks like it's individual pieces laid out on a table.
Yeah.
I just took the time to lasso every single individual piece and colorize it like in GIMP.
Ah, fair, fair. I've done
So
that with some other things, not with my model, but I think I tried doing that with like a War Thunder tank to try and change the color scheme of the tank. Which, God, I'm glad. I need to take it. I would stream War Thunder again, but at the same time, that game can get inferior, just aggravating, very aggravating. Sorry for the following comment. Hopefully it's not too offensive. Assassin's Creed Black Flag has eavesdropping and fighting, dude. Black Flag is my favorite Assassin's Creed, and it is the best pirate game in existence. Screw Sea of Thieves. Assassin's Creed Black Flag is so much better. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. Maybe that's a base take, or maybe that's a take that'll get me canceled. But I love Black Flag.
yeah, Willow, you can change certain things, and it just it depends if it works well or not. Sometimes it doesn't play well if you want to change the colors directly in VTube Studio, but you can like colorize things, put tones on them, or
Yeah. Also, I think that they're making a joke about your model. Mom, can we get Kurokami? And then they said we have Kurokami at home.
is that the goth model? That's
I'm pretty sure. Who is Kurokami again? I forget who this character. It sounds familiar. Kurokami. I'm trying to see.
I could totally give a curveball and go my old model.
I don't really.
I'll have my legs cut off, but
Let's see. I don't recognize this name. Immortality, ammunition, and others. Gotcha. Let's see. What has new weapons? Hold on. Assassin's Creed Black Flag. It has new weapons and cheats. The cheats are immortality, infinite ammunition, others. Gotcha. Oh, that's a much different model. Also, you have no legs.
yeah, I know this one didn't have legs to begin with.
You're just floating there now. You're a ghost.
Yeah.
Is this the first model?
This is the first one I had. Yeah, this was made by a gentleman called Howard Johnson.
Gotcha. That's fair. That's fair.
Let me... Oh.
There you go. Although your ears are cut off.
It'll switch back in a bit. It's timed. I have it as a redeem on Twitch, so
it'll, do you? Gotcha. Are you currently streaming on Twitch, by the way, or not?
No, I'm not. No.
Ah, okay, that's fair. Let's see. Depends on that artist separated the layers. That's fair. Shirokami Fubuki's alter ego. Right. Okay, you're right, Jose. I've seen that. Yeah, how Fubuki has like alterations, like she can flip between black and white. I thought that concert she did where she did it with her doppelganger was really cool. That was neat. Like, I think it's cool when a VTuber has like an alter ego. I've always thought that. I think it's just because you know that trope where characters have like an evil persona, like
yeah,
like Naruto with the nine-tailed fox, and then you have Bleach where Ichigo has the hollow
form. I was gonna mention that if you didn't. Yeah.
Yep, I love the hollow form. It's so cool. I don't know if One Piece had anything like that. I didn't really stick with One Piece, so I wouldn't know. And but it's just like having an alternate form was cool. I guess it's also kind of like, you know, Yugi and Yami Yugi or whatever, like how he just changed into the other Yugi, the Pharaoh.
Oh yeah, Pharaoh Yugi. Yeah.
Like whenever whenever the freaking thing would come on, like the sound whenever they'd swap was really cool. Although I still love Jaden Yuki from freaking GX. I love Yu-Gi-Oh GX. Elemental Heroes vibed with me.
The OG Yu-Gi-Oh too. Like that was like the plot point for like the final battle, right? Was like, hey, he
Yugi
can't
versus
read
Yami.
both our minds. Like he had to like put down the cards and then switch personalities.
Ah, you're right. True. Something like that, yeah. What about My Hero Academia? I guess I don't know if it has that evil thing. I'm not complaining. Regular sounding dudes with the cute VTuber model is my favorite genre. Hey. Yep, regular sounding dudes with a cute VTuber model. Yep, I know some people like that. And Shaw here has a pretty nice model, and also seems like a really nice guy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If you want to see the whole model, here's the whole thing.
Yes. I mean, I can show off mine as well. Hold on. I got to unlock, though, for this. Yeah, I got the full model. I even got, like, my shoes. You know, they got, like, the laces and stuff. But yeah.
Nice. Comfy
Yes.
loafers.
Yep, comfy model. There we go. Let me just, oh, whoops. Cancel that.
We're all different skewed now.
Yep. They're a bit the size got a bit skewed. Nice kicks. Thank you. Again, models based off how I like to dress in person when I have the energy for it. I really should do another post on one of those VTubers versus IRL, especially now that a lot of like I'm shocked. The moment I started doing news, like because you know, I was saying like there are 3 moments that VTubers started taking notice of me. One was that post about XCOM. I started getting a little bit of noticement. 2 was me announcing interviews, but the moment I started doing news is when I really popped off to VTubers, where my name, a lot more people started to notice me. And so it's I'm trying to remember where I was going with this. I can't remember now. My brain just completely shut down where I was going with that. I don't remember now. That sucks. I was gonna say something.
It happens.
Go all the way back. Kizuna Eye and Sora. It's so cool. Nice. When they get small, they look like a normal cat size. What? Sha getting small? Can you take a roast on your style? Bro, I get roasted on my frickin' fedora all the goddamn time. It pisses me off. People are like, "Oh, you're a neckbeard."
People.
They're like, "You're a neckbeard. You're a redditor. You're a nice r/nice guy. You're a milady." It's like, God, can't I just like fedoras because they look like I think they look nice on me? Can't I just like them for that reason? Especially when that's like a gift from my late grandma was the fedora that this model wears. Like, come on, man. Okay, I'll stay shut. It's fine, Jose. It's just I get roasted all the goddamn time by people. It's like, come on. Fedoras aren't that bad, dude. Don't want to be unoriginal.
Hey, you hit the nail on the head. That was the point you were gonna.
No, I know that people are gonna make that roast about my model, dude. Oh God, I know they are. Oh man, the thing is about becoming. Oh, now I remember, because VTubers have taken notice. It just shocked me that the moment I announced I was going down the interviewer route, that's when people really took a notice in my content.
Mm-hmm.
I guess people just like, here's the thing. You do have a lot of VTubers who make news, but not a lot of them actually like go down the route of trying to be a reporter with like a microphone and stuff. They just kind of stand. But I specifically commissioned a microphone specifically because I was like, I want it for when I interview people and for when I do news reports because I thought it'd be interesting.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Let's see. I've seen VTubers do interviews, but not a VTuber dedicated to doing interviews. I guess that's true. You got Iron Mouse who interviews people, but that's not her main content. Whereas I'm trying to be to brand myself as being an interviewer and reporter now. Kind of that's become my main content, even over gaming, which I'm glad that people are tuning into this more. I appreciate that more. There's Mousies and Curious talk shows and Pippa interviews people sometimes. Yeah. But I guess I'm probably the first one to make that, like, I'm doing 1 to 2, sometimes even 3 interviews a week. Because I just kind of want to brand myself as that. But a dedicated interviewer, oh yeah, that's a gap. You know, hey, I'll take it. If I become known as that, I'll appreciate that. And also, welcome everyone. By the way, Willow and Jose and Omega, thank you all for coming to the stream. Glad to have new faces. Always welcome here. Do you guys have any questions for Shaw, by the way? If you guys have anything you want me to ask Shaw, feel free to bring it up. Or for the both of us.
Mostly an open book.
Same here. I am very public, even about the fact that I'm in defeat.
Oh my.
Yes, I'm very public about that because, you know, I'm trying to change the whole I kind of feel like I want to change the whole view that VTubers get about where they're like they get insulted when they're in defeat, or like if content creators are like trying to vehemently like go against it, or like anyone who claims they're in defeat is a creep. I'm trying to change that and be like, yeah, I'm a normal guy. I'm just I'm a normal VTuber. I like feet. I'm not ashamed. And anybody who tries to be ashamed of me, like trying to make me feel ashamed, what's wrong with you? There are people who like eating ass. In my opinion, that's worse.
I mean, I don't even think that's just an opinion. I'd like to think that's a fact, but here we are.
I know some people will fight me on that, but that's why I'm saying that's my opinion. I think that it's more disgusting to lick a booty hole than it is to do anything with feet. Unless you like licking feet that are extremely dirty, in which case I will have to take a step back because some people are into that, and I think that's so weird. Let's see. My brother is in simping feet fetishes like our starter pack. Oh God. My brother in simping feet fetish is like our starter pack. Okay. May I ask how long you've been making content streaming? I'm assuming that's for both of us. So I'm gonna ask you first. How long have you been making content or streaming? I know you said you've been on Twitch for like 8 years now.
Yeah, it'd be about that long. I've been doing it for about that long. So 8 years is the official answer, but I've only been doing VTubing for about the last 2.5 years.
Yeah, and the sad thing is I can also say about the same. I've been doing, let's see. I have been doing YouTube since 2015, so that's about 8 years as well. I started Twitch in 2017, 2018. So that's an 5 to 6 years of Twitch before I gave up on Twitch. I might do a stream here or there on Twitch, especially because I want to play Cult of the Lamb at some point, and that's only that's best played on Twitch because that's Twitch interaction. But yeah. So I've been doing, and then I've only been a VTuber for like half of last year, maybe even less than that, maybe. So it's been like about half a year or less since I've been a VTuber. But yeah, and I'm a hybrid VTuber. I still show my face. Like, you'll still see my face very often. I'm fine with showing my face. Again, that's why I modeled my character after myself. What's your favorite part of being a VTuber?
Well, for me, it was kind of like a way of just taking a break because I have a very stressful job. And it's a way of kind of like linking to a simpler time in my life when I was just able to, play video games and relax and not have a bunch of responsibility. And then to be able to like kind of pour energy into the character, kind of like a D&D character, is kind of cool, right? It's got this persistent thing that's evolving, and people are recognizing it now. So it's just kind of cool on that end. So it's very much a relaxation thing for me.
Yeah. I feel like that, the also will tie into the second question Jose asked, but I'll go into that as soon as I answer my part from Willow. What's your favorite part of being a VTuber? For me, there's a couple of reasons. One, it makes it extremely easy to make thumbnails. Extremely easy, because it's like it's so much more work. Even if I either have to put up a green screen or I have to crop out myself if I'm using my IRL face in a thumbnail, and I just don't like putting my face in thumbnails. But by VTuber model, I can just create a black or background or some background and just quickly cut that color out, make a transparent image, and VTuber reaction right there. Boom, put that in the thumbnail. So easy. It's honestly also I just like the aesthetic. I think that looking like an anime character is quite nice. Let's see. I feel like you can make it look a lot more unique than you can as an IRL streamer. And third reason, I get headaches when I have to have a light on my face for a long period of time. And so going VTuber allowed me to stop both putting a camera in face, but also stop having to get dressed as much. Because whenever I get in camera, I would wear this outfit or something similar to it, because I would like to dress up to stand out, stand out more from the crowd by dressing nice on Twitch. And that was exhausting.
It's like a Josh Strife Hayes. He always dresses in like the dress, the full two piece.
Oh yeah, very much so. And sometimes I'd wear the blazer on top, so I'd wear the whole 3-piece suit. The vest, the jacket, the pants. I'd wear the whole spiel. Let's see. How is the transition to VTubing? How different is the experience? How does the VTubing culture feel like in contrast to general streaming culture?
Well, hard to say, right? Because I've never had like, let's say, massive numbers or anything. I don't know. There's been a sense of positivity I found for myself. The general viewer that pops in and says hello and stuff. It's very wholesome. Like there's not a lot of like, haha, you suck stuff or like anything like that. I wasn't getting a ton of that before, but it was pretty seamless for me.
When you went
I wouldn't say.
VTuber?
Yeah, there was very little like resistance or static. It just kind of happened one day, and nobody really said boo about it because most of my streams were Final Fantasy with this character anyway. So I think anyone that had been watching me before, just it didn't really matter to them. So
I'd say the same for me. The big difference that was for me, um, it felt like it became easier to interact with new content creators or people like to branch out and reach out to people that I would never have talked to. Because before VTubing became a thing, in my opinion, streamers were very hesitant to collab with each other. It was like that people didn't like reaching out to complete strangers, whereas I think VTubers turned that on its head because VTubers severely made it more popular to collab with people and to meet new people. I feel like VTubing brought that more to light, and it's still the better community for doing that. Like if you want to collab, I think VTubing.
no, 100%. It's almost like video games, right? Like it's super easy to make a party in a game and be like, we're gonna do this. You might not know the people before, but like the
Just
stakes
ask
are
some
low. But
VTubers.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, but like take that in the real life. Like, let's say there's 6 people that are all strangers. Like, there's that whole feeling of like, I gotta feel you out. I don't know who you are. I'm not focusing on the experience. I'm focusing more on like how I'm behaving. How do I
Yep,
look?
yep. And I think that collabing
So
has kind of changed that a little bit.
I think so.
And I feel like there's anti-judgment. There is and there isn't. Because, yes, people don't judge as much, but also going back into that, well, yes, I've seen a lot of positive aspects to the VTubing community. I have also seen that a lot of VTubers are very hesitant to collab or to reach out, or they're very judgmental based on numbers. Like, I've seen VTubers who, like, I've been ghosted by VTubers I scheduled interviews with. There's one VTuber I scheduled 2 interviews with because we missed the first one because they accidentally scheduled a stream because they'd forgot about
Yeah.
our interview, and then the second time I feel like they just did it on purpose. They ghosted me. You will have
Yeah, you
negative
give them the benefit of
aspects.
the doubt the first time, but
Yeah,
um,
you will have VTubers or even people or even especially on YouTube Shorts lately, VTubers are noticing that there's a lot of hatred towards VTubers being poured out now.
yeah, and like here's the thing: you'll get more support in other ways, but you'll get less support in other ways because there's always going to be that one person or people that literally take joy in making other people feel discomforted or like so like people will like literally call you slurs just because that's what they do. They try to find like a VTuber on their debut or something like that and try to make them feel like crap.
Mm-hmm.
You can't avoid that. That's someone doing bad behavior, and it shouldn't really have anything to
And
do
the
with
thing is, it
you.
doesn't even apply just to VTubers. Like I did a report. I did a video on somebody who lost some very people close to them, and I had to delete some comments because some people were writing they were writing good riddance or why should I care about this person? They're a nobody, and it's just like you are a horrible human being if that's your first reaction to somebody losing family and losing a friend.
Yeah, that's awful. And like I've seen like people design bots that'll like quickly create Twitch accounts, and then like the person will follow this person, like spam follow, and it's
Yeah,
like
follow
basically a
botting.
hate. It's like, but worse, the names are such that the order in which they follow tells like a hateful message.
That too.
Like
Yeah,
if
I've
you
seen that.
um
I saw one person doing that,
and
not with bots, but they created alt accounts and they named it like they were making fun of the fact that someone had been taken advantage of by a man or woman.
that's awful. Like I don't understand. Like there's so few hours in the day. I don't know why people this
Why
is their
people
thing. But
Yeah, I don't know why some people dedicate hours of their day to making other people miserable. It's just like antis are pathetic. They are. It's sad. It's very sad.
and Jose with the leech thing, like a smaller VTuber asking like bigger ones, and like I've never really felt that. Like, obviously I'm not reaching out to the people that are like mainstream, like biggest people, right? But like, I found most people, even people that have 10 times, 20 times the viewership that I do, they've been happy as long as you've been respectful or like.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, especially I learned that early on in 2020. I've been told a couple things. Oh God. So I got lucky when I was playing VR chat in 2020. I met a really big VR chat streamer and YouTuber known as McCrackle, and
Mhm.
I'm not trying to brag at all. Like, the guy's awesome. Go watch his content. It's so good. Especially now that he's branched away from VR chat, he's now making video essays like Brush and Badger, and they're so good. Um, but at the time, I felt like I was leeching off him because we hit it off, and he let me start hanging out with him. But apparently, even people in his friend group, I just learned this recently. Some people in his friend group apparently thought I was being a clout chaser, and were trying to advise McCrackle and his friends not to hang out with me. But they were giving me the benefit of the doubt. Even McCrackle even told me once. He was like, I do not think you're a clout chaser. He's even told me I interviewed him recently. You can watch it on my channel. I interviewed him saying, hey, like, we talked, and I was like, hey, you never thought I was a cloud chaser. So I said something along those lines. It's like, no, you're very different because you actually interacted with us. You were trying to do your own thing. You wouldn't constantly follow us around. And it's just like, it was, what do you gotta do when it comes to being hanging out with a big content creator? Don't leech off them. Just be yourself, be a normal person, and give them space. And also realize that you don't have to invite them to everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And on top of all that, like, you like, just pay attention. Like, there's most people that'll do like a call out. They're like, I'm looking actively for collabs, or like, you do it yourself and you'll get people to message. So I find it very non-stressful myself. But like I said, my experience might be skewed, or
yeah, it's true. And I have seen that, and I have had bigger streamers literally ignore me because they think I'm a nobody, or that they think I'm trying to leech off them. And the big thing is, I have a lot of respect for the content creators I watch, and it's like, part of me just goes, I would love just the chance to chat with them and just get their opinion on content creation, and just get to know them. Even if I don't message them every day and only reach every so often, it's like, I want to be able to chat. I want, part of me just goes, I want to say something nice to them and see how they'd respond. Whether I hang out with them on the regular or it's just a one-time thing. I'd love that chance to just have a conversation with them, even if it's a short one.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense to me, because like you said, it doesn't have to be like a everyday kind of thing. It's just, this thing came up. I think it'd be interesting to get your take on it, right? So if you have that, low stress relationship with them, it's great.
Oh yeah, very much so. It's like, that's why I think with VTubing, it is sad when you see the ones who do kind of treat you like you are a clout chaser. I've seen that. But it's gonna happen. And I will say, like, I learned the hard way that clout chasing was not okay, because I will admit, there was a time before I even got into VR chat where I attempted to clout chase, and it was very, very bad. I got called out by the streamers community. Do you know the content creator known as Smitty, the milk bag VTuber, not VTuber, streamer, content creator guy, Canadian?
Yeah,
hangs out with Vanoss sometimes.
I've heard of them.
There was a day I went in his chat and I was like, "Oh, hey, your content is totally inspiring me. I'm making videos similar to you." And the comments were not kind to me, because I knew what I was doing. I didn't fully realize how wrong it was what I was doing. And I posted it the moment his video went live, because I memorized his upload schedule. And so the moment he released it, I had that comment prepared, like, in a notepad. So I copied, pasted it, and I got so much hate on that frickin' message, and I deservedly got it. Don't clout chase.
None of us are perfect. We all make some choices sometimes, where like we look back and like, yeah, maybe that wasn't dealt with the right way. But I mean, at the end of the day, you got to look at the overall totality of people's actions. You weren't meaning any harm, right? So like,
no, it was just, I was excited to share that,
Yeah.
part of me does go, I would love to have some of these people check me out. I know that was part of my thought process.
Oh yeah, it'd just be cool. It'd just be cool, regardless, right? All things you say, like, it's just cool.
It's cool, but again, you shouldn't self-promote in people's comments. It's not okay. Self-promotion, unwarranted, is just clout chasing. Let's see. Interesting you mentioned thumbnails. What other aspect of content creator became easier or harder with VTubing? Easier, collabs, networking. It's been so easy to chat with people, like, and actively, it's honestly made it easier to be social as well. Chatting with new people has never been easier being a VTuber, but what has been harder? What has been harder? I guess I don't know. What about you? What has been easier and harder for
Well,
you?
so the harder side, I think I have an easy answer for that, is when you have a real camera, you can put a lot of like gestures and like facial expressions that wouldn't normally be easy with VTubing. So like you have to
True,
change
you
the
can
way you
express yourself.
emote.
Yeah, you can express yourself so
Um,
much more with not being a VTuber.
and like you have to you have to train yourself to react and look and move and talk in certain ways when you VTube that aren't necessarily natural but have to become habit for you to kind of like successfully express what you're trying to with the model. So I would say that part's difficult because it's not intuitive. It's this thing you watch yourself over months, how you're moving and what your actual little movements do to the model.
Exactly, and that's why. And I will say one of the hardest things that has been for me, I get so mad when my model doesn't like open its mouth when I want it to. It's like the mouth tracking has been such a pain in the butt for me that I literally will. That if I played getting over it for 5.5 hours with a friend, with two friends just chatting, and I made no progress that day, but I still didn't get angry. I don't think I've gotten more angry than I have at my model. Okay, no, that's not true. I get very mad when my model doesn't move the way I want it to.
100%, I understand. Like I just bought a Tobii eye tracker.
Oh, really?
Because I did. Well, sometimes when I'll start the model, my mouth will like open and close on its own. Like I'm not even moving; it'll just open and close until I like calibrate the camera, turn it on and off, and it's
I'm
just
so glad I
annoying.
don't have that issue.
So it just all depends, right? Like there's little kinks to every model just in the way that it was rigged. I mean, obviously the artist is testing it with their face and not my face, so there's going to be little differences.
True.
And like Jose's saying, like it's
Yeah,
kind of
VTubes. You
like
slap a
puppeteering, but
mask.
it's not really puppeteering.
Yeah. VTube Studio tracks the bottom of your jaw rather than your mouth shape. Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think the
Huh.
only difference is if you enable the NVIDIA GPU one, but that has its own issues. Yeah, I find that
Yeah.
crashes once in a while. If you have the RTX version, you can enable the different tracking.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Oh man. Yeah, wouldn't know much, but oh, I will say one thing I just want to ask you, have you ever had a bigger content creator like notice you in some way, shape, or form?
Um,
I feel like I wanted to ask that.
it's a really weird one, but there's a famous YouTuber. His name's Steve 1985.
I've not heard of him, but he sounds familiar.
It has nothing to do with VTubing. It's really weird. But he reviews military rations. And like this guy has like tens of thousands of like subscribers and stuff. Like he's awesome. But like he's actually friends with me on Facebook because of like how he came to see me or something. It's really cool actually.
That's awesome.
Because like a lot of people will like name call him to try to like get out like a reaction, but like he'll like literally just comment on my everyday things and he'll be
one of the ones that really shocked me, he didn't stick around, but I had a what's his name? It's like Sal, S-A-L. I don't remember what the numbers are that come after, but the guy is a 2B2T, if you know that Minecraft server, 2B2T.
Mhm.
It's an anarchy server where like there's no rules and modding and all that is allowed and hackers are wild. But so I was just streaming Minecraft one day on YouTube and the guy just popped in my chat. I'm like, wait, is that the Sal? Like you're a 2B2T streamer or not streamer? Well, he is. I think he does stream, but I was like, oh yeah, the oldest anarchy server in Minecraft. I was like, wait, what is this guy doing in my chat? He's like, well, all the other. He told me that everyone else streaming Minecraft just seemed like they were all either all crazy or they were children, but mine was just giving off chill vibes. Sadly, I don't think he subscribed or stuck around, but I was like, oh my god, the fact this guy noticed me and I would just watch his content sometimes. I was like, oh, that's cool.
That's cool. He just popped in.
Oh yeah. It's like these people are just normal people too. It's like it's just the thing is I feel bad because some people probably feel a bit awkward if they're like, "Oh, I look up to you so much." It's like I'm just a normal person, but I can't help it if it's somebody I look up to and and they pop in or they follow me. It's like, "Oh my God, I feel like honored that somebody I respect or look up to thinks I'm worth following or talking to."
Oh, for sure, for sure.
I don't know. And if I ever do become big, I still want to interact with smaller content creators to help bring them up. But I know that also leaves me open to being taken advantage of by content creators who want to grow for malicious purposes.
Yeah, and it's a whole thing, right? Like like everyone will develop their own process of kind of like vetting people and giving people like a tryout almost. So it's a very finicky thing, and it's not always going to work perfectly, but it's like anything with time, experience, wisdom, and practice, it becomes easier.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm curious about why you reacted to my post way back when on that XCOM post I put out.
Oh, I think it was just seeing XCOM, that's something I'd been so into at the time. Seeing it after so much time, I was like, this is awesome. Like, I think this is cool.
Oh yeah,
because I did something very similar. Like I made all my guild mates that I was playing Final Fantasy with. I made all my guild mates people in my XCOM campaign. So
that's awesome. I personally think XCOM's 2 is better strictly because like I think XCOM 1, in my opinion, had a lot more fair combat mechanics. At least it felt kind of fair. I feel like XCOM 2 though, it's just the character creator added so much more to it.
Yeah, 100%. Just for like creation wise, it definitely upped the ante.
Oh yeah, I feel like there's a lot of overlap between old style Minecraft YouTubers and VTubers. I could see that. I could definitely see that, dude. There's so many old Minecraft YouTubers that I think are still to this day really awesome. Like Captain Sparkles. I think I'll always have respect for Jordan. You know, Captain Sparkles. Unless he, of course, comes out to be a horrible person, but I don't think that ever will happen. He just seems like he's too good of a guy to like do something horrible. But then again, I've said that about other content creators, and I've been proven wrong.
Well, you can't have a perfect batting average. You just try your best.
yeah. I mean, you'd think that somebody who dug wells for children in Africa was a good guy, but
you give him to the benefit of the doubt till you don't.
yeah, the day Captain Sparkles gets canceled, YouTube dies. Maybe. Yeah, probably. Captain Sparkles. If Captain Sparkles gets canceled or RT Game gets canceled too. I know RT Game's newer, but I love his content. He's super wholesome. I don't know. I tend to really love wholesome people when I watch YouTube. I also like the chaotic, but there's a limit. I like dark humor, but there's a channel I can't watch anymore strictly because the dark humor just got too much for me. And that was a channel that I still love and respect the guy. I still think he makes good content. But have you ever heard of The Do?
I think I have, but I'm not super familiar.
He used to make a lot of musical content. Like he'd play music on VR chat for people. He would play music on Omegle. Play music in Call of Duty lobbies.
Okay.
Yeah, but then he started being a lot more aggressive with his dark humor. The moment he started playing more with like McNasty and people like that. Again, I love them; they're funny people. But the dark humor, at some level, just it gets too much for me, or I feel a little bit of cringe, especially when that dark humor is flirting, jokingly making really bad flirts with females in video games.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
I just like I it's not nothing against their content, but when I see them jokingly acting like the creeps in video games, like towards female content creators, it's like, oh god. Wait, what the fuck? The dude went dark. He's the doo-doo. He's still funny, but it's just a bit too dark. Like I can still watch him, but especially if he's in other people's videos, I love watching him. Like he was in a Smitty video recently, and he was super entertaining to watch. have in the video. But Smitty, of course, cut out more of the dark humor moments, which, you know, that's fair. I like my fair share of dark humor, but there's limits that I can handle.
Yeah, you definitely got to be in the right headspace too, and like expecting it. It shouldn't come out of the blue anyway.
Exactly, exactly.
Out of the blue into the dark.
I mean, Vanos went dark too, and he does a lot of dark humor. But the way Vanos delivers it is kind of funny, where he's like making all these. He makes a lot of racist jokes because he knows, like, he's just like, yeah, try and cancel me. But he does it in a way that's still funny, you know. Like, I think he's mainly like racist about Asians because he is Asian.
Yeah, it's more like a self-deprecating humor rather than, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Although he does like to make jokes about women, but typically that's, you know, he seems to do it in a playful manner. I don't know. There's like, it depends on the way you deliver and how, and the person, like, just because I'm not the biggest fan of dark humor doesn't mean someone else isn't a fan. You know, everyone's into different things.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so. Oh man. But you know, let's see. I'm trying to think. For you, did you ever play much Minecraft or not really?
I played a little bit. I mean, I had two really close friends in real life that we had our own server and we like built stuff in it. Like that was the time I think I like sat down and played it the most. I wouldn't say it's a game I go back to a lot, especially since there's other games similar to it like Valheim that I enjoy a bit more. But it's definitely something that I've poured, you know, at least a couple hundred hours into.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I've definitely poured way too many hours into Minecraft in the past. I'm hoping, here's the thing, I'm hoping to get a community that is here for my chill talks. I think is I don't tell, here's the bad part about me. I'm a chill streamer, but I don't have a lot of interesting stories to tell. So I'm basically every stream to me, if it's not like a Q&A, I'm mainly talking about the game. But if the people in chat are asking me questions or they're like, or I'm doing like, and I feel bad if I love calm games, but I'm very boring to watch. I feel like because I'm just super laid back.
No, it definitely helps if you have more than just yourself, right? Because you play off of each other and stories come out way more naturally, right?
Play
Like
off
me
of
and you
chat or
talking.
friends. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Like I might not have thought about a story that hasn't happened in like 10 years, but you mentioned the right thing. It's going to spark that conversation.
Oh, definitely. I mean, like, I had a story pop up recently that I completely forgot about that I told people, which I can't remember what it was because I don't think it was a story I tell often, but it was probably on my podcast. It was just like, I completely forgot about this. I should talk about this. You need to go out for a drink next time a hurricane makes landfall. Nah, I'm not going to pull a Vesper. And I think that's what you're referring to, because there's a VTuber named Vesper who, during a hurricane, went to a bar and got trapped in the bar, so he got free drinks from the bartender.
That happened to me with work, actually, but it wasn't a hurricane, it was an avalanche.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, so I'm like, how do I put it? I'm like a substitute police officer. I travel to places that don't have enough cops and fill in for a bit.
Gotcha.
So I was in this small community and we got called out really early in the morning to drive to this place that's like 2.5 hours away. And the person I was working with was about 20 minutes behind me driving. In the 20 minutes between us, apparently an avalanche happened. I could have been hit by it, but I drove by it apparently. Like it happened after I passed.
Wow.
And there's only one way in by land to this village that I drove to.
So you got stuck in a village.
I got stuck there until 10 o'clock the next day when they were able to get like heavy machinery to clear off the road.
Jesus.
But I had to stay with the traveling nurses and like they put me up in their house. They like made me nachos. We had a movie night. It was great. No, because I was still technically, if anything happened, I was the only cop in the community. I couldn't. Right. Yeah. So, and I did get called out for something. So, when I'm working, I don't really get to do any relaxing stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a horror movie plot. Yeah, it could be a horror movie plot, but it sounds like it's more fun.
Rural Canadian village, one cop gets stranded in a small insular community.
Oh boy, you could totally make like a horror movie about that, where the cop undercovers a very like a corrupt cult in the town or something.
I mean, really, there's already a video like 30 Days of Nights, kind of like that, almost like the vampire movie. There's
Okay.
that one village that's like gets invaded by vampires during the winter solstice.
Oh my gosh. Also, about going back to the whole thing about drinks, I also tend to avoid alcohol. I mean, I say tend to. I've never touched it. I've been having dreams about it lately for some reason. I think it's because I keep telling people I don't drink. My brain is making up stories in my head about drinking. But I'm staying away from alcohol because my family history has a lot of alcoholics, so I'm avoiding alcohol like the plague. I do not want to find out what I'm like when I'm drunk. I'm already have to take medication to help me focus. I'd rather not drink something that'll take away my focus. You know, that's my whole thing. Now,
No, 100, and I see the effects firsthand. So I have to be in a very comfortable time and space for me to even think about drinking.
Gotcha. Vampires taking over. Yeah, it sounds like there was a movie about that. 30 Days of
I just put
Nights
the title
movie.
in. Yeah.
Gotcha. I've never heard of that.
It's a really good movie if you ever have a. It's about 2 hours long. It was made in 2007.
Is it a horror movie? Because I'm not good with
Yeah.
horror movies.
It is a horror movie, but it's more. How do I put it? It's more about the suspense than the horror.
Okay.
The vampires are creepy and there's a little bit of gore, but it's not focused on it per se.
Gotcha.
It's more the tension and like the overwhelming feeling of like we're not getting out of this.
Yeah. That makes sense.
These aren't normal vampires. They are like speed freaks. So
the most I've ever had was a sip because my mom was persistent. I had my sister and I try some as a test. Gotcha. I've heard about parents doing that to try and convince their kids that alcohol is bad. They'll give them a taste just because it's like bitter or something.
yeah, my parents didn't do anything like at my grandmother's once for like a Thanksgiving. I think I asked, and they're like, "Yeah, you could have a sip of wine." I taste it. I'm like, "That's garbage," and they're like, "Yep, it is. So you shouldn't drink."
That's funny. Yeah, my parents haven't done anything like that. I just didn't want to touch alcohol. I never did, and I never will because I've seen the effects of what it can do negatively do to people. And again, like I said, I already take medication to help me basically function. I'd rather not do anything that hinders that function. It's also I'm staying away from weed or anything like that. I'm staying a lifelong sober, and I hope that people respect that.
It's all a personal choice, right? It don't affect no one else.
Yep.
My friend, I went to his wedding as like a groom. He actually found out he's allergic to alcohol, so like he
Really?
can't drink. Yeah, so like when he was drinking, he was not only getting drunk, he was also having an allergic reaction and not realizing.
Jesus.
So
Oh, wow.
So yeah, at his wedding, he had like a bunch of mocktails, so like unalcoholic cocktails. So that was pretty cool. There's always an option, and there's no stress. Like people that are stressing, that like, hey, you should have a drink, like that's about something else. That they're trying to get you to peer pressure you, basically.
Wait, where'd the cat girl go? Oh, took your medication. I get the joke they're making. They're saying that they took their schizophrenic medication and that you disappeared.
Oh no.
God, that joke almost went over my head, but
Yeah.
I've heard enough schizophrenic jokes lately that that kind of joke is starting to be easier to understand.
Link and the cat girl is just a normal cat going.
Yeah, it's just like you disappear, and now there's just a regular cat. I'm interviewing a regular cat. You've not
just silently judging you. Yeah.
Oh man, I am new to that joke. Yeah, just like people make that joke a lot about schizophrenic stuff.
Just become a cat.
Yeah, is that a default model?
That's one of the default ones. Yeah.
I thought so. Oh man, that's funny. Oh man. I hear that joke like 3 times a week. Oh my gosh. Man, I just, man, I really wish I had more time in the day. Here's this thing. Honestly, I wish I had more time to stream the things I want to stream. Because, yeah, I need to finish Elden Ring. I want to do this XCOM idea now. I have a VTuber dating show coming up next week I'm planning.
Oh, perfect time for Valentine's Day.
Yes, it's actually going to be on Valentine's Day as well. So that will be interesting. It's gonna be basic. I don't know how it's gonna go. It might be extremely scuffed, but that'll be fun to try out.
Hey, sometimes the scuff is the content itself.
Yes. I may speed too much observing the questionable parts of the community. Oh my gosh. There's a lot of questionable parts of different communities. I will say that yep, there is a dating show. Yep, that I am planning on doing.
Ayo?
Any spots left in there? At the moment, yes, I am. I will say I am trying. I've not mentioned it publicly, but I'm trying to only get VTubers who have rigged models, just so when I hover over them, their models are actually moving. That way, everyone has their cameras on for the dating show. That's what I'm going for. I'm not trying to like say that PNG tubers are bad or anything. I'm just saying I want to stick to people who actually can move around on the stream.
Yeah, it's not applicable to the event you're doing, right? Like it has some requirements, and obviously it doesn't.
Yeah. That's why, like, the yesterday's, I think I was going to interview someone who doesn't even have a model yet, or like their model's not rigged, which it'll be a bit weird, but it'll be fine once I do interview them. I just think it's hard interviewing someone who doesn't have a model. Like, the big difference is, okay,
Well, I think we're losing you a bit on the bit rate.
Uh-oh. Are we good now?
Yeah, we're good now.
Okay, yeah, bitrate dropped. My internet's funky like that sometimes. Dating shows are always so fun. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's small indie VTubers because I wanted to try one. Seems like it'd be fun. It's all for fun and games. No one is going in seriously expecting love. It's all for fun. There's gonna be eliminations and all that. It'll be fun. I still need to do a little bit more research on how dating shows typically are hosted and how I should kind of function mine. Again, it's gonna be scuffed. It's gonna be scuffed. So I don't want people going and expecting it to be some perfect game. It's just gonna be for fun, see if people like it and if they have fun with it. Let's see. VRoid should be fine. Yeah, VRoid should be fine, I think, for the most part. Yeah, I think that should be fine. I'm trying to make sure everyone I invite in is going to, make sure they go in not expecting to actually get a date. It's for fun. But yes. Let's see. What else was I gonna say? I'm curious, what kind of plans do you have in the near future?
So I do have without releasing too much info, I'm going to do a little bit of a giveaway in March, so stay tuned for that.
Ooh.
I
was gonna say, anyone watching, be sure to Sha's links, Aspire's links are in the description. So feel free to go and check out the card that is down there, and you will see all of his socials. That way you can go follow all of them.
Thank you. Yeah, so doing a little giveaway in March. I have a lot more artwork that's in the works. There's certain things to the stream I'm improving, like alerts. I have a custom alert being made, like an animated image that'll play when people subscribe and stuff. There's a few things. I mean, I wouldn't say there's like a specific big event. I would like to do one more. Subathon's the wrong word, but like 24-hour stream challenge. I've already done one once.
I
might do another
24
one.
hours anymore. Like, unless I can actually sleep on the stream. Because last time...
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, I think this time around, though, because it was the same thing. Like, I was feeling burnt out at, like, 22 and a half hours. Like, I was done. I think I might make it so I'll start with 12 or something. And then, like, maybe X amount of follows / subs, I'll increase it, maybe.
That sounds like a fair idea. I plan to do something, or like I think I'll do something similar, because last time I did a 24-hour, I felt very bad because a new viewer came in, and in the chat they heard me this was around like the 20-hour mark. They asked if I was okay because I sounded super like exhausted and just out of it. And then they're like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm just going to leave. And I'm like, okay, you know what? We're ending stream. If a viewer is going to come in and I'm not being entertaining and I just seem like I'm not in the right headspace, I don't want to be streaming right now.
No, like I'm a night owl, but even at the end, it was getting tough for me. I was starting to get a little loopy. So, like I said, maybe I'll call it a 12-hour, and then I'll increase it if there's enough interest in people like helping to keep me awake and stimulated. But if it's just me kind of streaming and no one's really there at the end, I'll just call it quits. But I'm planning on doing that maybe in the next 2 to 3 months ish.
I like that typically people are calling those, what are they calling them now?
I think they're
Endurance streams.
subathons or endurance streams. Yeah,
Because it is a matter of endurance, seeing how long you can go.
100%. Even if it's an engaging game, there becomes a point where you are drifting.
Last time I did my 24-hour, we did like 10 to 12 hours of just gang beasts throughout the stream because we just got addicted to playing gang beasts.
Yeah. I think, how did I do it? I think I split it up a bunch of games. Like I had League of Legends, I had Phasmophobia, I had Overwatch, I had Kerbal Space Program.
Oh, you gotta do that every 24 hour. You gotta mix it up.
And then I think I ended it off with like Dot Hack, like a game from my past. So
nice. Very
yeah.
nice.
Well, that's kind of the next little bit there. I got to get some stuff sorted. I'm probably going to be moving in real life soon, so probably in the next 3 or 4 months.
Gotcha.
So I'll let that stuff kind of settle out first.
Your chat seems to like the fact that you mentioned Dot Hack.
Dot Hack GU. That was my game growing up, like in middle school.
Nice. Oh, what kind of game is it?
It was like Sword Art Online before Sword Art Online thought it was a thing. So the general premise is it's an RPG. You're playing a character playing an online game, but things happen in the story that transcend what should be able to be happening in a game. And then the plot kind of goes from there. But it's kind of like an action-based hack and slash with like
VR chat, they say.
Yeah, it's exactly what it was. Yeah.
Huh.
So it's the whole idea of like putting on a virtual reality helmet and being in a different world, right? They were the first one to really kind of do that. It started as an anime.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
They released a bunch of games based off of the anime.
Ah, okay, because yeah, they say Dot Hack is tragic in chat.
The first one's very, how do I put it? It's very like open-ended how it's said. Like it doesn't explain it to you straight out, and there's not like a ton of action going on. It's just throughout the course of the story that's just kind of happening. You find out just how tragic it is. And then
Gotcha.
Dot Hack GU turns that on its head, and it's like, how do we introduce a bunch more action to this? And they added like player killing and stuff, and
yeah. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. A game from my childhood, I always talk about it. There's this old original Xbox game called Brute Force that I really loved.
I don't think I've ever played that one.
It was on the original Xbox, so like the very first Xbox, and it was an interesting game. It had like squad mechanics. You could swap between 4 characters. You had to recruit them first though, but you had what was it, Tex? I want to say it's either Tex or Rex, but I want to say Tex is like he's like this really buff human whose special ability is that he can dual wield. He can do that with heavy weapons too, so he can dual wield like Gatling guns and stuff. Then there's Brutus, who is like a lizard man, and he has like thermal vision, and like a berserker mode. Then you have I forgot I think Hawk is the next character who's like has like cloaking ability, and like she can like assassinate people using her blades.
Okay.
And then the final character, I want to say her name was Flint, but that's just because I don't remember what her name was. And her whole thing was she was a sniper. I forget what her special ability was, but I want to say it was like auto targeting or something. Like you could as long as you fired within the rectangle, you basically would guarantee a hit on any enemy.
Okay.
Could be wrong.
Kind of reminds me of in that way, kind of like a proto Borderlands,
Kind of. It was, and you could swap between all the characters. You can tell them what to do. You can tell them, follow me, don't shoot anybody, or like literally go guns blazing. You'd be like, go, don't even follow me, just attack everything. And they could swap between the characters using the D-pad, so it was really cool. Let's see. I gotta go to
Cool.
sleep, but fun watching. Yeah, have a good one, Willow. It was nice having you here. Glad to have you in
Take care,
chat.
Willow.
Welcome to the community. Glad to have you. And Ryan says, did you have Uno with your Xbox? I don't believe so. No.
I did.
Did you?
Oh yeah, I think a lot of people had Uno. I actually have Uno on my PC now. It's like like a direct port. It's they didn't even like change anything. It's like the console version for PC.
Really? Like, it's not
Yeah,
like the newer Uno that people play, right? It's like an older one.
yeah. It looks older. I mean, it looks pretty dated. It's at least like 2010, circa 2008.
I can't even play the new Uno game that people are playing because it's something to do with my router, my IP. Apparently,
Oh,
the way it's
okay.
set up, Uno won't let me play thanks to Ubisoft, and my dad won't let me figure it out because I have to do something with my router, and he won't let
Hmm.
me touch it.
I won a Uno tournament a couple months back. It was a Skelly VTuber, so skeleton VTubers versus cat girls, and the cat girls won.
Really? Wow, that's
Yeah,
interesting. What do you mean
it was a
everyone
fun
has
time.
Uno? Question mark.
I
Uh,
thought everyone has Uno.
oh my god.
At least
Well,
a physical copy. You open up a drawer, someone's gonna have a deck of Uno somewhere.
yep. I will say that we've been going for nearly 3 hours now, so I think that I'm
Mhm.
going to call the interview here. Um,
Sounds like a
but
plan.
it was very fun having you. Thank you for joining me, and hope you enjoyed yourself as well.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. And yeah, feel free to reach out anytime.
Yep, and anyone in chat, be sure to go follow all of Aspire's socials. Link in the description. And also, if you haven't followed all mine, I'd love to see you follow mine as well. I've had a blast here with Aspire. It's been very nice. Um, also, if you like I said, like we typed at the beginning, if there's anyone you think would enjoy an interview, you can feel free to point them my way.
Will do.
Yes, that's funny. Also, you mentioned Octopi because she's one of the ones I'm hoping to get an interview with at some point.
Mhm. She's super funny. She is hilarious.
Oh man, I hopefully I can convince her or like get in touch with her. I think that'd be nice.
Hmm.
But yeah, thank you everyone so much for watching. It's been nice. It's been fun, and hopefully I will see you guys tomorrow. Also,
Yep.
speaking
Take
of tomorrow, not only am I streaming another interview tomorrow, but I'm also uploading the second episode of our podcast tomorrow, the
Woohoo!
General Chat podcast. So very gonna be fun. Okay, so keep an eye on my Twitter. But yeah, thank you everyone. It's been fun, and I'll see you next time. Peace.